All right, YouTube, what's up? This is Ninja What with my co-host DrVaash and our guest that's been here forever. Mount Fables.
Seven-time guest person over here, Mount Fables.
This is episode 6.
Six-time guest.
I would say
Yeah,
close enough.
Close enough. All right, so this time we're gonna do something different. Mount Fables, go ahead. What's your intro first?
For anyone watching that want to support, my name is Mount Fables. Pretty much on any handle. I chose that name specifically because it wasn't really taken anywhere on social media yet. Thank goodness. So you search me up on Instagram or TikTok. You can find me at Mount Fables, literally just Mount Fables, and yeah.
Cool. Then my co-host, DrVaash, go ahead. Give us your intro smackaroo.
Hi, it's DrVaash here. So I'm a streamer / YouTuber. Follow me at YouTube or twitch.tv/DrVaash. And I'm currently just streaming, single player games. Probably going to be streaming Street Fighter 6 just because I'm just got into the game and enjoying it. And we're really spreading our wings this month because of how many games that are dropping. Oh my gosh. Hopefully we can get into Diablo. I think it just released recently.
Is it the 5th? No, I think it come out on the 5th.
Okay, so it comes out tomorrow. I will not be playing it tomorrow, or we're recording this on the 4th. I will not be playing this on the 5th, maybe on the 10th. But I have so much stuff going on, and it's good times for the channel. Hopefully, I can see you there.
Yeah. Then I don't need no intro because let's get into it. This one is probably gonna be. It was gonna be movie heavy, but 2 out of the 3 people didn't see Ariel the Mermaid.
I mean, honestly speaking, I was planning on seeing it today. But I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning playing Street Fighter 6. So that's what happened to me today.
Well, then also, I don't know. I was really too enthusiastic to see it.
Neither was I.
Yo, someone just texted me about the ending of Spider-Man. That's funny.
What? What did they say?
No, they was mad about how it ended.
Well, dang. But I guess, do you want to segue into that, or I'm not sure what the first topic is?
No, we ain't segue into nothing because we're gonna talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy first.
Oh boy,
save the big stuff for last.
Okay, well, The Little Mermaid is just a soulless cash grab, as all Disney remakes are, and they added 40. My issue was they added 45 minutes to a movie that was already succinct and straight to the point as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to sit there for 2 hours and 15 minutes in the movie theater. It's not. Well, I did that yesterday with Spider-Man, and I enjoyed myself. I'm not going to enjoy the time creep of movies.
As someone who actually saw the dang old movie, the movie is fine. I didn't realize that the movie was 45 minutes longer than the cartoon. So
it's funny. It's like I agree with Vash on this one, but at the same time, I hate to say it, I think Spider-Man kind of had the same problem. I feel like the movie was too long, just like the whole Mermaid movie was too long. And like in the Mermaid movie, like the older movie actually was not as long, and it actually had a more fleshed out story and added more stuff than the newer version.
Add this thing called its own story. Something new, a breath of fresh air.
I think the Ariel the Mermaid movie followed the source material like to a T. I mean, it was.
Well, no, but basically what I'm saying, the problem is that it followed the source material, took longer to say it, and at the same time made changes that, well, I mean, me personally, I think was stupid. But yeah.
I see what you're saying, like changing the color of different people and stuff like that. Is that what you mean?
Well, that's on a small scale of it, but I mean, Yeah, I mean that's like a minor thing. Really and truly, there's a whole controversy in that in itself. I would say, like, really and truly, I have a conspiracy theory about that, and I guess you could say some other people do as well. Where I feel like they do that just as a meat shield. So it's like they kind of know that they're doing a remake, and that the remake may not be as good as the original, especially since the writing quality has been going down lately. So basically, they do stuff like that just to, if you ever try to attack the movie, they'll be like, oh well, you're just criticizing this movie because this person is this color now. So oh yeah, it's just because you're racist. That's why you're criticizing it. You're not criticizing it because it's bad. It's just because you're racist.
I
So
get you.
Even though Disney has been doing that for their last 10 movies straight, so I feel like other companies besides Disney, they don't do that, but Disney, I don't know. I don't think there's even an agenda for that. I just think that Disney's just being stupid and they don't care about making money anymore. And you could tell by them laying off so many people and them like even cutting back in Marvel and like laying people off and really like making sure that, hey man, make sure this movie's a good one that people actually like. It's not like how it used to, where Disney could throw out a movie and make $1 billion. Now they're losing money, and they haven't made money on a film in like the last almost like 6-7 years, except for last 4 years, except for
one that's a stretch.
I would say
they're
except for
not
Star
making
Wars.
money.
Yeah, they made money on Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi.
Yeah, they made they didn't make as much money as they wanted. They don't want to make like how much they make 100 million off a movie with a
But you're
200
not
million
losing
budget.
money. You're not losing money if you're making a profit.
Well, here's the thing, Ricky.
For movies, especially when they put in like 100 million, 200 million dollars, they don't want to get back 100 million dollars. They want to get back $1 billion. Like
Yeah,
Avatar.
but it's not.
Avatar was going to be my example of them making money. Avatar made $2 billion. That's a movie that made money for Disney. But like outside of that, they haven't had any bangers except for Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was pretty much a Sony film. They haven't made any money from like any Marvel stuff except for Shang-Chi and Black Panther, and they didn't make as much money as they used to. Like they didn't make $1 billion.
We're just saying they didn't make as much money as they used to on certain things, but I'm sure they made their money on those movies.
I mean, but Disney wants $1 billion. They don't want like 100 million. They want $1 billion. They want to be bangers each time, like back in the day.
How much you know they want? Maybe they. I said, how much? How do you know how much they want? That's the real question.
Because it's just like if you put $200 million in a movie, you don't want to get back $100 million. Or if you put in like a half $1 billion into a movie, including advertising and making the movie, you don't want to get back $100 million. You can do that by starting a new toy line.
Well, my bad for earlier, but yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, you don't like the whole point is to make a significant profit so you could do future projects and like reinvest it. If you're making only like $10,000 or something in profit, it's like
10% profits or 20%.
They made almost $1 billion from that movie.
From which movie?
Shang-Chi?
From Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I know, but like the first Black Panther almost did $2 billion.
Yeah.
The first Black Panther did 1.3 billion, so it didn't almost do 2 billion.
Okay, that's still a $500,000 difference.
They made
time for inflation.
Hold on now. They roughly made what they probably was thinking they were going to make off the movie.
Well, I will say too, like another thing is just really just logistics, like because you have to think, like, first off, when you make the 2 billion, for example, right, like kind of like how we were saying about we have to reinvest it. You're not getting that whole 2 billion. You're probably going to get maybe 10% of that, which is what, like $1 million, maybe 10 million. So I was gonna say, like, you kind of have to. You're only working with 10 million in profit for your own self to reinvest in another movie to try to make more money.
That's true, but I was about to say too, they made more than that with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. By the way.
Doctor Strange: The Multiverse was one of the most expensive movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
and they was basically 50 million shy for making $1 billion off of it. So
yeah, and they spent almost over $500 million on reshoots and stuff.
Jesus, yeah.
It is one of the most notorious movies off of like reshoots, advertising, and stuff. Like they spent a ton of money on that movie.
Let me see something. 'Cause we just saying stuff, but I want to be accurate. It said the budget for the movie was $2 million.
You said 2 million or 200 million?
200 million, my bad.
Yeah, so the 200 million.
That's not half a
and
billion.
you got to multiply it by 2 for advertising.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah.
So 4 billion.
And I don't think that
That's the max, by the way. That was the max from where I'm reading.
And don't forget, they did significant reshoots for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and don't forget about their movies that lost money, like Lightyear.
Oh yeah,
a couple $100 million. Was it Strange World? Lost money. What else?
World? What's that?
Eternals lost money.
Hold on. Stop naming movies real quick. Let me Strange World for a second.
But they did lose money, but yes.
I'm just saying, most of the Marvel stuff, it's not like they're losing money on.
Oh yeah, Marvel isn't at the point where they're losing money consistently, but like after Ant-Man, didn't make. I think Ant-Man lost money, and
yeah, they did lose money on that. Because they said their budget they had on that one was like 100 million to 197.
Yeah, and you just multiply it by 2, so around $400 million to make altogether with advertising, and then like they only sold.
No, if you multiply it by 2, that's like 200 million, at most 300 million for advertisement.
I'm saying like 1 point.
And I don't know how much advertising they did because I never even seen advertisement for the movie. So
they advertise everything except for the Eternals. they advertised the Eternals a little bit.
That's
but then they realized they had a dud.
No, they made a decent amount of money on that.
On Eternals? Yeah. The Eternals didn't make money for Disney.
I believe it did.
No, it didn't.
It said it grossed $402 million worldwide. So it made its money back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but how much did it cost to make?
Right. Yeah, because that don't even.
It seemed like the price range of all their movies, it typically takes them 100 to 200 million to make it, and then they get whatever. Like the Black Widow movie did worse than Eternals.
Well, the Black Widow movie was under specific circumstances.
I get you, but also Ant-Man and the Wasp made its money back too. So it made 476 million. So,
but the thing is, they don't want to make money. They don't want to hit even on these movies. Like, what's the point of dropping $500 million?
Right? They're making a profit back.
No,
wait, yeah, I was about to say, I don't. That don't sound right because I feel like you're reading the. Cause when you say gross, I feel like you're reading just what it made, not the net.
I read, the box office, not gross. It would be technically gross, yeah.
So whenever they bring up like spending, they only mean on producing the movie. They don't mean anything extra outside of that.
So but they're not paying millions and millions of dollars to do advertisement.
Hold on,
come on, man.
Yeah,
I gotta look something now. Huh? Let me.
They do.
They don't spend $100 million to advertise.
They do.
They actually do, though.
Hold on.
And don't forget too, it costs them money to keep movies in the movie theater. And on top of that, if there's any merchandising, if there's any promotions, if they have the actors go out and like promote the movie, that's advertising too. Like they pay them to go out and be like, oh yeah, watch the movie, or like having special showings, or paying for like reviewers' tickets, or or I'm trying to think of another thing. I think I nailed all the ones too. But all that stuff adds up. You can't just, have Robert Downey Jr. showing up to places for free. You can't have the entire cast of the Eternals show up for free. You got 10 people. You gotta pay them for their pop show.
They said from so they said that the average for marketing budgeting for a typical movie is typically anywhere from 50 to 150% of the final product spending. So which means if they
Yeah, if you do the average, then it's 100%, so you double it. And that's average between 50 and 150. And that's like for a higher end movie, like Marvel movies, we know that Disney want those movies to go out, so they up the marketing budget.
Avenger movie budget. I don't know what it calls.
Like, because I know when the first Avengers dropped, they probably were at like 2 times the amount.
No, it said they only spent 100. It said they only spent 100 million to advertise the first Avenger movie. Because I'm reading like a little article about it now. 200 million.
Masterpiece.
Now I will say Eternals. I'm kind of looking online, and I mean, so based on what I've seen on Reddit and like some other sites, it's kind of saying that pretty much like with the budget and the marketing, it did kind of equal up to 400 million, and like the profit was 400 million around there. So it didn't really make a profit, mainly because profit is kind of determined like if you make 2.5x your budget, then that would be considered like breaking even. And their budget was 200 million, but that's not they didn't make 2.5x. Basically, is what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They want to make a dumb amount of money on every.
Brandon, you saying they want to make dumb money doesn't make any sense, because a profit is a profit. But I see what you're saying, because that the profit would be the 2.5, not the not like, oh, we had to shoot for $1 billion every single time. Because they could be throwing movies. Hold on. They could be throwing movies out there because they just want to throw movies out there to say that they got it out there. So because from a company standpoint, it's like, we already started working on this movie. Let's at least try to reap something back. So some of these movies, they are. Can I finish what I'm saying, Brandon? Dang.
Well, I think I know what he's about to say, but go ahead. Well, the main reason. Yes, I go.
Wow. No, go ahead. Everybody won't talk. Go ahead.
You can go ahead, Brad.
What I'm saying is, if they were doing so good, why are they canceling so many projects? They canceled Ironheart. They canceled multiple Marvel projects. Like,
they didn't think it would do good. They didn't think it would they didn't think it would do good.
Well, actually, what's funny is I think it plays into what I was kind of saying, and what Brandon was kind of saying is where it's like, the reason why you could say it lost money is because even though on paper it kind of made more, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because you need so much money to produce a movie. So they're trying to think about future proof, like future projects. And that's why they're canceling projects, because they're not making enough money from these movies to reinvest it to make new movies.
I get it.
As I said, if you make like $1 profit, that's like, okay, cool. So I did all of this and made $1. That's great.
No, I agree. I think what's really killing them though is the non-Marvel related movie stuff. Because like Strange World flopped, but Buzz Lightyear movie flopped. The Turning Red movie flopped.
Yeah,
like those non-Disney movies are flopping like hard.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Turning Red.
And actually, Turning Red, it only made 20 million at the box office. That's crazy.
Damn.
And the budget was 175.
Jesus Christ!
Stop it!
For an animated movie?
Stop it,
it was
bro.
one of those weird things where they tried to release it on Disney Plus and on Disney Plus and the movie theater, but I think it was free on Disney Plus. So it definitely kicked them in the, just like the Black Widow movie, why you can't go off the Black Widow movie numbers, because like Black Widow probably would have done a lot better if they just released it, even though it was during the times of untold struggles. And so looking at those numbers isn't very helpful. However, it definitely, I don't think Turning Red would have done well either way.
Yeah, I think it would have flopped either way. So,
yeah.
And they're also about to release another major flop, The Elementals. Oh my god!
It's funny. I like the animation behind it, but it like kind of like the ideas behind the animation. But yeah, no, I ain't gonna like that. That plot looking a little weak.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right now we have Spider-Man, Transformers is coming out, even though it's not going to be good, we can rely on that.
That movie was looking
We
good.
have
though, I
Little
ain't gonna cap.
Mermaid.
Oh yeah,
I feel like there's one other movie that I'm overlooking, but
The Flash.
The Flash. Thank you. And you're going to try to release a movie between all of those? I don't know. Disney,
I don't know. Man.
they need some restructuring and actually think about what customers want.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you, but I guess going back to the original point, I think that the Ariel the Mermaid movie was pretty okay. I mean, it like I said, it's basically just like the cartoon, just a live action of it, and they didn't do a bad job depicting it. I mean, you're saying they added 45 minutes. Honestly, when I was watching the movie, I didn't even realize that it was extra 45 minutes than what it originally was. But then again, I guess I don't remember how long the actual original thing was like that either. But I like I said, I think they did a pretty good job with it. Just on the standpoint of like a live action movie where they could have did 10 times worse. Everything flowed. It was okay. I think y'all should watch it though before y'all start judging it.
Me personally, I feel like they just did too much for really not much benefit.
I agree. Oh, one critique I do have to say about it though. I thought it was weird because they didn't really change the race of most of the main cast per se. Let's say that, but like halfway, so they showed like basically only white humans halfway through the movie until she finally got on land, like she got turned into a human, and then that's when you start seeing like, oh, okay, it makes sense why it was okay for her to be black, because now on the island it was like very diverse, like it's all types of races on the island. So
It's like the
I think that's the problem.
It was the I'm trying to think of the Netflix show where it was like a love story between like a black and a white girl, a black guy and a white girl. It starts with an H, like the Huntingtons or something. But it's something like that where it doesn't seem out of place, so she can fit in.
I think you're talking about Bridgerton.
Yeah, Bridgerton. Sorry, I was thinking Huffington. I was like, no, that's all right. And also, the original Little Mermaid goes for 83 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you gotta think too. Back then, it was it's a cartoon.
Well, yeah, I mean that's basically, I guess, what I'm trying to get across. Really, it's just sometimes animation is okay. You know, you don't have to necessarily recreate the wheel and kind of make it have a whole bunch of bling, but it kind of really truly is just being held back.
You know, this
from
is
all
what
of
I
that.
was telling Uni. I was telling her the same thing. I was like, I feel like we're good enough, like as a race of Black people, we're good enough to have our own stories, and we don't need to shoehorn ourselves into other established storylines when we can have our own stories that can resonate with people as well as or as good as Little Mermaid.
Right.
No, I agree. Yeah, like Princess and the Frog.
Oh, but the reason earlier I was saying that it was kind of bad about the diverse island thing is just because it kind of doesn't make any sense, because it's like, okay, but you know, different geographical locations have different groups of people. Like during that time of you know, sailing the seas and going to different countries, you didn't really have you know, diverse countries. You had homogenous countries, really. So I mean, if it was trying to be more realistic, then I think the island should have been more homogenous, probably towards you know, the indigenous people, and maybe
We
had
don't
like
care
the
about historical accuracy around here.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's a dang on fictional story. They don't care.
well, no, it's not even historical accuracy. It's just basically just making sense, really. Because we all don't come from the same place. Like, you know, we all kind of converge from different places onto that place. Maybe. But really, truly, back in the day, with that, and also older technology too, and just it's just a lot to it. Like, you have to think things happen for a reason. So that's why I'm basically saying what I'm saying, because it's like you have to think of the context of the setting.
It said the original was loosely based on the mid 1800s, but then it says the live action was loosely based on the 19th century. Oh, which is 1800. Never mind. Same thing. Stay in school, kids.
but yeah, no, it's basically all I think.
I'm definitely going to watch it. I was supposed to watch it today. It was Street Fighter I'm kind of consuming my life for the last. I literally played, I think, in the last 2 days, like 10 hours of it. So,
I guess.
and I'm
Not
still.
not too much of Little Mermaid though, because I told the fourth member that was not first member, the fourth or the second guest, that we weren't going to talk about it that much. So, and that's why they're not joining. So,
Oh dang.
Dang.
All right. Well, fair enough.
but yeah, I'll advise y'all go see it, then come back and make your harsh opinions.
I certainly will. It's just I'm automatically turned off by all of the Disney remakes. I've been like that since Beauty of the Beast came out, and they realized that they can make money just remaking their same properties again.
Even then, I think the Beauty and the Beast was a decent movie. Like I think that one was a more decent movie than this movie.
I mean, I heard that too, and I'm still haven't seen it, and I don't plan on watching it. But Uni wants to watch it, so I can definitely take time out of my schedule to go out and
I enjoyed Beauty and the Beast. That was pretty good. That was pretty good one. Hands down, I would say that one was better than Ariel the Mermaid.
But yeah.
And I'm never gonna see the Mulan live action because they took out Mushu. So
Bro, the Mulan live action,
Jesus Christ.
they might as well call that thing Mulan because that ain't the same character.
It's not. It's really not. Yeah.
But they made that one more historically accurate, didn't they?
I mean, they you can say that.
No. What the movie? No.
Mulan flipped off of a 10-story place and landed on her feet as a 10-year-old child. So like, she was a Power Ranger in there. And I'm a Mulan fan. I love Mulan. And let me tell you, the thing about Mulan isn't that she has overwhelming strength or she was the best soldier. The thing about her was that she was the smartest and she had the most drive to like lead her men. That was the best thing about Mulan. And did they do that in the remake? No, they butchered her. Turned her into a Power Ranger. I can't believe that. She was doing flips. She beat the bad guy by deflecting his arrow with the kick and then bicycle kicking it into his heart.
Oh my god, dog.
Dang, that's
like come on.
brutal.
Like, that's what I mean. Is Mulan and
dang. I'm like, dang, he bicycle kicked it in there? Dang, that's crazy.
She deflected it with her foot and then kicked it into his heart. I was like, oh.
That's on some Shang-Chi right there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think I might have to go watch that.
Watch it, because it ain't Mulan, bro. It's just like Mulan 2 ain't Mulan. That ain't Mulan.
Bro. I was also going to say that Aladdin live action was pretty decent, too.
Yeah. It's been a minute since I saw that.
To be honest, for me, I've never seen it, and the only critics that I've ever seen like talk about was about the songs not being as energetic as the cartoon because it's a cartoon versus live action. But I don't know anything about it. I do know that it definitely did make Disney $1 billion.
Oh yeah, especially Will Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that the Aladdin one was probably the better out of all of them, and Aladdin's like my favorite Disney princess story. So
What's funny? Me personally, like the whole live action Disney, I would say for me it's probably what's it called? Enchanted?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, well that and I would say I kind of like Maleficent too, but I think
Maleficent was a good sidetracking of the like Sleeping Beauty storyline. Even though Maleficent was a complete a-hole in her original movie and she got murdered, making her into a good guy Venom style, I feel like kind of fits. I think it did her justice.
Anyway, that movie was pretty bad though. The second was kind of bad though.
I will say they could have
movie.
Yeah, I'll admit they could have just stuck with the first one.
I think I saw it.
I saw it too. It was.
Was there anything memorable about that movie?
What, the second one?
Yeah,
they had the It was a bunch of the her same race or different race of people or something like that. That was
it's like different subspecies of her bird wing people So it
Okay.
had like the European bird wing, and then the dark skinned bird wing, and the indigenous bird wings.
Okay.
It was something, I would say.
Yeah,
It
and
was
they
like a
all
Middle Earth thing.
yeah, and they all were like I think they all were underground or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all underground or something like that. Because they was exiled from the world. I guess maybe
Convenient.
no, I don't know.
They
Either
were
way,
all conveniently exiled
I don't
underground
know.
for
Well,
this
let me
movie.
rephrase that. I don't know if they were exiled. I think they were just somewhere else because they didn't want to be with the humans. But the humans exiled Maleficent, or she ran away. I don't know. She got caught up and somehow found her way to her race of people. So I don't know. The second movie they could have kept it. I agree, but
I mean, I would say another one, I guess, real quick, is probably Oz the Great and Powerful. I kind of like that one too a lot.
I think that was a good movie. I do remember watching that.
I don't think I actually watched that.
Again, those aren't really, remakes. Those are more of a retelling or like a backstory type of.
Yeah, like they
And
added
I
more.
don't mind retellings or backstories because you're bringing something different to the table. Like it's something different that I'm watching. Like it's different story beats. I don't know what to expect compared to watching a remake where I know pretty much what's going to go down because I saw the original when I was 30 times when I was a child.
You know what's
Oh,
funny?
that
That's
movie.
I would say that's probably actually a good point right there. I would say, as a rule of thumb, is if you want to do a remake, that could be interesting in itself by telling the same story but from a different perspective, like from the villain's perspective or from like just like a onlooker's perspective.
And
Yeah.
I certainly know in Little Mermaid, the extra hour of runtime is them developing the relationship between Ariel and the prince and like the prince's backstory and more about the kingdom, stuff like that. But at the same time, with Little Mermaid, it was kind of supposed to be the whole point of Little Mermaid originally was kind of supposed to be like Disney's return to form type of movie, but in a different environment. So
Yeah.
it's not really it wasn't necessary back then, and I know nowadays we want to learn more about the characters and so, but I don't really feel like it's necessary for the point that Little Mermaid was trying to say.
I think that it was necessary for them to build their relationship because that's the whole reason why she wanted to really become human. Well, other than her fascination with just human culture, but that's what pushed her to the edge. But again, that's enough on earlier Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a half an hour is a good amount of time to put on it.
But yeah, so real quick, Guardians of the Galaxy. What we got to say on that?
Oh boy.
I can go first. I feel
said
like
real quick.
Fables is going to go deep into it. Give me 1 second, though.
Okay.
Well, I guess do you want him to go maybe or?
He said, "Give him 1 second." So I guess.
Sorry, the water is running, so I'm just going to talk through it real quick. But
Okay.
the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I feel like it was a good movie. I feel like all the Guardians of the Galaxies were a good movie. James Gunn know what he's doing in terms of directing these movies. However, I definitely, especially when I was watching it, and after you get past the the animal, like was when you see something that's not supposed to look a certain way and it makes you recoil. That's the feeling that you get on those scenes.
Yeah. Well, like a repulsive feeling.
Yeah, like when you get past the repulsiveness of Rocket's backstory, you sit there and you're just like, wow. I mean, it was a good movie, but it didn't feel special. Like it I don't know. It just felt like they made another another superhero Marvel movie, and they introduced they replaced spoilers if anyone's here. They replaced the Guardians with anyone who wasn't a CG character, and it's kind of just doing that Marvel thing where they're just right now replacing all their characters. The stories are like they try to interweave them so deeply, and they're just trying to bring in new characters all the time. And it's kind of feeling like it's just at what point do we just call it? Like when I don't see an end in the Marvel tunnel, and it's it's definitely going to, at this rate, going to die a death of just like speckling out. That's what it feels like, especially when I was watching that movie. It's like, I'm going to be either watching this for the rest of my life, or they're going to end this without in the middle of a storyline.
Well, I will say that the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 did not feel like a regular Marvel movie. I'll tell you that.
I mean, it felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and like Guardians of the Galaxy
I agree.
is even though they've always been like their own weird side thing in Marvel, it still felt like I was watching a Marvel superhero movie with like all the common Marvel stuff to expect, but instead of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like abrasiveness.
Yeah,
Uh,
I will say that I was not expecting most of the stuff that was going to be in that movie. I'm not going to leave in cap. So,
yeah, if should I say the spoiler warning now, Mount Fables?
oh, I guess that's my
yeah, hold on.
introduction.
Spoil warning. But before we let Mount Fables rip into it, I was going to say this. I enjoyed the movie. I think that one was the best one out of all of them.
You poor soul.
Crazy. But that's probably because my favorite character is Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, second being Gamora, and the rest of them I don't really care for that much. That's only because that's just comic book related stuff. That's the only reason why. But
They did Gamora so bad in that movie.
I will say, yeah, they could have did a little bit more of Gamora in that movie.
Yeah.
But again, it seemed like they were just trying to focus more so on doing our Rocket movie. Maybe they might pivot, and maybe later on Rocket might get his own spin-off movie or something. So I don't know, but maybe that's why it was a Rocket focused movie. But because I like Rocket a lot, I thought it was very very good. Not very good, but I thought it was good.
And
wow.
I would
This might be
say for
biased.
me, the Guardians of the Galaxy, I've never, to be honest with you, when the movie came out and it was doing really good in the theaters, I didn't even watch it then. It's just, especially for lower tier Marvel heroes, I know Guardians of the Galaxy isn't like E or F tier, but they're definitely like B or C tier before the movie came out. And like when they put Rocket Raccoon in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I remember, like, I wouldn't say I remember because I wasn't in YouTube or into like fighting games like that at the time, but like other people when they talk about when they added Rocket Raccoon to the game, they're like, who is this character? Like big name like YouTubers and stuff. And at the time, it was before Guardians of the Galaxy came out. So I didn't even know Rocket was in there until like 6 years after the first after the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out. I was like, that's Rocket Raccoon? And
yeah, that was his original outfit from the comic. Yeah, I only knew Rocket Raccoon because I actually read the original comics. That's why.
I never read comics. I was too poor for comics.
And in Guardians of the Galaxy, I will say it's like, yeah, if you was talking about like groups, because of course it'd be the Avengers and then all the different variations of Avengers, but I would say their group is pretty much up there. They're more well known than like Inhumans. What else?
I think
Inhumans, Young.
In terms of tiers, it goes the Avengers, then the X-Men, and then what's another group in the universe?
It will probably be Guardians of the Galaxy third, by the way.
Probably Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm just gonna throw that out there,
especially nowadays.
Well, what about the something? It's like Champions or something like that.
I heard of the Inhumans before I heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So for me, it will probably be Inhumans and then Guardians of the Galaxy. Then after like recent,
I think that's just because of maybe just like not knowing a lot about comic books. Maybe that's what I would say.
I heard about Black Bolt. There was one point in time when I was like listening to comics from Comic Historian, and like that's where I heard about like the original comic book storyline and the Darkest Night, which is probably my favorite comic book series of all time. And like he also went over like about the Inhumans and like feats about that Black Bolt has done. So I know a lot about Black Bolt. And
Black Bolt is not that big of a character either. I will say.
Yeah, especially since Marvel canned his series.
That was
Yeah, and canned him in the Doctor Strange movie. So
I will hold on, give me 1 second. I'm typing in something in Google and it keeps on putting micros in it. I realized my mouse was on micros in it as I was trying to type this up.
well, I guess am I clear to talk now? I guess or
You can go ahead because I was going to look up the different Marvel hero groups so I could just see what we're looking at. But
There's
go
the
ahead. Go ahead and,
Thunderbolts. No one's ever heard of the Thunderbolts.
I heard of them a little bit actually, but yeah, they're not talked about. They haven't had a source material, I believe, in a hot second too. So,
but yeah, no, I mean, well, I guess since we aren't really on this one for a while, oh man, James Gunn, I could tell this is your last movie because he it seemed like he kind of just kind of hurried up with this one, like just like put a bunch in there at once and kind of just let it ride, but it kind of all like collided with each other. And yeah, no, it was a huge train wreck. I'm not even gonna lie. Like this movie, and when I first, you know, what breaks my heart the most is like I actually wanted this movie to be kind of good. I was like going into the movie theater like, oh yeah, it's James Gunn. Yeah, this is gonna be a really good movie. And then I saw the movie, and then I had my first impression opinion about it, where it's like, well, that was weird, and that also was weird. I don't know why these things happen. Then the more I kind of did some research and like saw other people's opinions, and then like what they saw in the movie that was inconsistent, boy, I started hating this movie. Yeah, this movie is kind of low tier. It's kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium level.
whoa.
Dang, bro.
Whoa.
I
can't agree with that.
I gotta detail that one. Literally, Ant-Man the Wasp was the most generic movie I've ever seen out of a character that was known for not having generic movies,
bro. No, I ain't gonna lie. I think it's because you like them characters, bro. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I know Ant-Man is kind of a low tier character in these movies, but like, I think it's because you like these characters. No, this movie was kind of.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy. You saying no, bro?
You thought Ant-Man over Guardians of the Galaxy 3, bro?
Oh, no. I'm saying it's on the same level.
No, it's not.
I would say that this movie is better. I would say it is like,
bro,
light years better. Light years better.
Dog, the only thing that was good about this movie was Rocket Raccoon's backstory, and even that had flaws in it.
All right,
it carried this whole movie, bro. We can't be lying, bro. That his backstory carried this whole movie.
But his backstory was the movie, though.
Well, honestly, it could have been his own thing. It could have been his own special, other than a group thing. I don't know, but like, I mean,
special, bro, they already used that money.
Yeah, they already used that money.
But no, it's man, I mean, I could talk your ear off all day about all the inconsistencies, but I mean, let me
just go over the main three. Just go over three. Everyone likes threes.
Sure. Good idea. Look, first off, the villain, Jesus Christ. Man, there was some good ideas there, and he just didn't capitalize at all. And it was kind of disheartening because I think this character was like, I think High Evolutionary was a better villain than Kang, because they're basically the same person. It's just different values.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, bro, was he just Kang? Like he had pretty much the same moveset as Kang.
He was basically Kang. He was Kang, but slightly more competent and had a philosophy that he didn't capitalize on.
Did they copy and paste my man? Like literally, like they said, all right, we have like. Honestly, did they just reshade King the Conqueror to like a purple and call it a day?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, honestly, because what's funny is High Evolutionary actually does not look like that in the comics. Like he doesn't even look human. But I mean, I guess they made him human looking, dark skin. Cool, I guess.
Make him black. If you don't know what he is, make him black.
But I mean, look, that's minor. But as I said, like, Jesus, I hate. Look, and this is turning into a problem in Marvel, where it's like these incompetent villains. Where it's like, you'll have a really strong villain with really strong moveset, and at the same time, you know, a philosophy could be built there on how they think and how they operate and move. But at the same time, it's like they're really not capitalizing on these villains because they just get rid of them like they're nothing. I remember there was a scene, like that final scene where Rocky was fighting you know, High Evolutionary. I mean, I'm sure we all have seen it, where High Evolutionary was just tossing him around like a rag doll. And then I guess Rocky Raccoon did something with the gravity boots, and then he landed on the ground. It was like, "Oh, my name is Rocket Raccoon." And then after saying that, he shot him, and he just fell over. And I'm like, what kind of movie is this?
No, they hit him with the wombo.
Well, no. What happened is Rocky Raccoon, after he landed on the ground, he shot him first, and then when he tried to get back up, then that's when the other jumped out, I guess.
And honestly speaking, if you had powers over gravity, like would you really expect him to whip out the gravity boots and blast you? That would have caught me slipping. But I definitely would have been just hitting him up and down, up and down. I'll probably just hit him up and just kill him.
Yeah, I probably just snap his neck and kill him. Bro, like, okay, what's so stupid is like that scene where like his I guess his soldiers, like the people who was working with him, where she pointed the gun at him and turned on him, and then they all started pointing the guns at him. I'm sure me and you both saw it, where he exploded the whole room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sure didn't do that with the Guardian for some reason, because he had to lose once Rocky Raccoon said his name.
Yeah, he did have the Kang the Conqueror erase you from timeline blast, the 360 erasure blast.
And what's even worse is he was more competent than Kang, but he still was incompetent. Like, bruh, what is going on? I don't.
Well, he was incompetent because he was just so stressed on getting Rocket back so he can form the new civilization that's better. Even though he had the civilization that was better.
Really and truly,
right
he just wanted his brain. He could have just tore it out.
He could have. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, gotta lose.
I would say for me too, if he knew that if he told Rocket Raccoon that he was going to kill them and then kill him and his friends, and he knew that he was going to escape if he told him that, why would he tell him that? Just be like, "Oh yeah, you're going. You're going to the promised land."
Yeah, and I don't know.
It would have been smarter, but as I say, it had to be incompetent so he could lose for some reason.
Yeah, he got hit with the old rabid animal attack. The level 3 special of rabid animals.
Oh, that's another scene too. Like back when he let him out the cage and then Rocket tried to escape and then his friends died. And then he's just saying, Wham, get back in your cage. And then
I was wondering why they shot the things in the background, the animals in the background. But honestly speaking, those were nightmare fuel. I would have shot them first too. Like, if I had choice between Rocket Raccoon, the normal looking raccoon, or the bunny rabbit with spider legs, it might got something forbidden in it. Like it might have a cannon in there. Like I gotta blast them.
Oh no, it wasn't even that. I mean, I'd agree. Yeah, he probably would shoot them over Rocket because Rocket was the more smarter one. But no, what I was saying is like after that happened, Rocket Raccoon got mad and jumped on his face and scratched it, and he just laid there and took it. And I'm like, well, I mean, Rocket Raccoon doesn't really weigh that much. I mean, I'm sure he could pick him up. I mean, raccoons really aren't that heavy, especially Rocket Raccoon.
Child raccoon too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess he just laid on the ground and got scratched. So that's cool.
Yeah, he was more worried about his beautiful face. Okay.
Yeah, he was more worried about.
Oh, and he had a gun.
Rocket. He was more worried about capturing Rocket than killing him. He didn't want to kill him, even though he can rip his spinal cord out of a dead animal. He needed him alive.
I just don't.
He wasn't even. Come on now. You think he had common sense? He wasn't smart to even figure out the issue when Rocky figured out the issue first.
Oh no, let's not. Come on, no, don't. You hurt my head. Don't do that. Don't do that argument of. Oh, he was stupid. He was meant to be stupid. No.
I'm not saying he was meant to be stupid. No, he was meant to be smart. It was just Rocky Raccoon was smarter.
First off, even that is a thing in itself where it doesn't make any sense. Why would Rocky Raccoon be smarter than him? He made him. And now you can say, yeah, but I mean, honestly, just think about it in itself. When he programmed his brain, I'm sure he has that algorithm somewhere on his computer. So, because you have to think too,
tried to
like,
replicate it. He had a small little box of raccoons.
well, but what I'm saying though is like when they programmed like the memory. Well, I mean, I guess you could say he kind of developed the memories on his own, but like, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah,
through
sure.
brain development and learning, yeah, he could have formed all of that on his own. I agree.
Well, like, cause I mean, he had a whole bunch of raccoons, and it's been some time since Rocket Raccoon was gone. I mean, I'm sure he could have did a whole bunch more experiments.
See, the difference between those guys, those raccoons, and Rocket was that Rocket had the power of friendship. Okay.
Oh my god! Yeah, sure. Wow. Well, and it's a kids movie too, so yeah, I can't take it too serious. Yeah.
That's crazy. Hold on, wait, before, because we probably gonna move on from this one, so we don't have you talking about the movie.
He hit 3 points.
Well, he did hit 3 points. He hit your 3 points.
Actually, that was more like 1 point. Actually, I because you said the major ones. I guess real quick, I could bring up 2 more.
Go ahead, real quick.
First off, the second one is Mantis. Jesus Christ, I used to love this character, and I just don't know what happened. Like, yeah,
they gave her more screen time. That's what happened. No.
I mean, sure, but like at first, Mantis, her specialty was she could do the whole emotions thing. But I don't know. I mean, I heard that this started in the whole Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, where she started just jumping, doing flip kicks, and I guess she's all of a sudden Jackie Chan or something. But yeah, so they had her doing a lot of that in the movie. I don't know where that came from, but I guess sure, yeah, she could do that. And then also, like the fact that so there was a scene, right?
Well, and I guess hold on before I think they just did a bad depiction of that in the second movie. That's probably why, because she always was able to do that in the comics at least. So
yeah, she was really powerful in the comics. I remember reading about her backstory and how convoluted it was, but she definitely could kick booty.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Dang.
That was just a bad take on the second. That's why I don't like the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie like that, to be honest with you. But
fair enough. Then. Yeah. Dang. Well, well, I'll take that back. Then I would say. But I mean, I guess I could say in that case, I fell in love with a false interpretation of the character. Because I mean, honestly, the main reason why is because I actually like when characters specialize in things versus being a jack of all trades. Because really and truly, that's how the real world works. Like that's how societies are built and developed, is by people who know different skills and come together to actually work together. And they're a part of a team who comes together and work together. Guardians of the Galaxy. So it would make sense that like basically what I'm saying is not everybody kicks butt. Some people are just they specialize in one thing and they're good at it. And they cover each other's bases, is what I'm saying. So that's why I kind of liked it where she only just did the mind, because the mind control thing is powerful in itself. People don't realize that, but that's actually that actually kind of leads into like an ethical question of when she uses her powers on people. And another reason I don't like the character is because she's just erasing people's memories, cough cough Drax, over small stuff. And I'm like, wait, hold on, that's kind of immoral to do, to just say, hey, you're not allowed to have this memory. You're not mature enough to have these memories. These memories have to be erased from you because you just can't handle it. And it's like, well, who are you to make this decision?
Marvel is notorious without their female characters. A great example is when Wanda took over an entire town and no one punished her for anything that she did.
Exactly.
No, she got punished. She got punished for it.
She walked away.
She got punished for it. They were trying to stop her. They just couldn't.
Trying to stop and punishment is two different things.
Well,
putting her in a jail cell was where she should have been.
She's too powerful for them to just capture and put her in a jail cell. What do you mean?
Well, at the time,
I mean, it could be an interdimensional one, just like Dormammu.
I mean, yeah, but someone had to put her in that. So
she needs to, something needs to happen. You just then says no one did anything to her. She then and Doctor Strange became a menace because no one wanted to lift a finger against her. And then like, oh look, now she's starting to kill all realities to try to get to her family. Like, oh yeah, that's what happens when you don't stop people when they are becoming a menace.
I mean, if I'm being truthful, she hid for all those years and studied the book. So I mean, technically speaking,
plotting, bro. You gotta
And
get
on top
them
of that,
early.
but on top of that, Doctor Strange don't interfere with stuff unless he absolutely has to.
Wait, whoa, what?
The only reason
Yes, he
why Doctor
does.
Strange didn't interfere is because the writers decided not to. They
Yeah,
didn't have an
exactly.
interview
Okay.
about this.
I'm
Where
like, that's
Doctor
his
Strange
job.
was
What?
supposed to come to the town, and they elected not to because they didn't want a white man coming and telling like the main character what she can and can't do.
Well, that he's Sorcerer Supreme. Like his whole. Wait, no, but that's important though. He's Sorcerer Supreme, so that's actually his job is to protect the Earth from magic users who are evil.
No, he's not
or do
Sorcerer
evil
Supreme
things.
though.
No, he was, and even if he isn't, he's still like he
No,
still
he was
assumes the
never.
role.
He was never Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, he was.
It went from the one, and then to
him.
Wong.
No,
it
to
went
him.
to.
Bro, it went to
known,
him. Yeah.
It's known that they cut Doctor Strange out of WandaVision. Like it's like if you search it up, like they interviewed and asked I think it was Kevin Feige, I forget who, but whoever the showrunner.
No, not that. I'm just saying that Doctor Strange was never Supreme.
Well, that's kind of wrong, dog. Like
he was
like he was.
He was.
No, what happened
until
is
the end of Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness.
Well, yeah, because he got snapped away. That's why it went to Wong. Is because he got snapped away for 5 years.
Yeah, so
but he wasn't
before
then.
Was he? I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even when he isn't, he still assumes the role.
That movie came out so long ago, I forgot.
Yeah, don't forget too. Like even if Wong was a Sorcerer Supreme, like if someone is causing this much trouble to reality, like what Wanda was doing,
she wasn't causing any trouble though yet. That's the thing.
It's the potential.
She took control
technically,
of
the Sorcerers came
rewriting reality there.
Right, it's a potential, really.
Let me do some comic book now, real quick.
Here we go.
The Sorcerer Supreme and sorcerers in general, they do not interfere with regular world stuff unless it's going to alter or mess up reality.
But it's with magic users, though, is what I'm saying. He deals with magic problems, and that's a magic problem.
It wasn't a magic problem until it got out of hand. They don't step in until it gets out of hand because they're not supposed to technically affect anything.
I mean,
they're there to oversee. It's like I was going to name another group, but it's
wait, hold on. What? So wait, then that means she was just a lot. First off, okay, this is what I mean by good writing, because it doesn't matter if it was out of hand yet. It's the potential that it can lead to get out of hand because he's trolling a town of people.
Multiverse of Madness plotline.
Exactly. Wait, that was over 2 children.
We got to stop Doctor Strange before he becomes a menace to the society. And then he was like, there's no menace here except for Wanda. And Wanda became a menace.
Right. Right. She controlled a town full of people. Imagine a whole city full of people, then a whole country, state. And you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I mean. And then another thing too, like that in itself is bad. Like you controlling people with your magic.
That's true.
She was a menace in WandaVision, and the fact that no one did anything just like, come on, man. And the point of Mantis doing stuff like that and like having no repercussions goes into like the Marvel thing of like the superheroes. When the superheroes need to have repercussions or according for the plot to happen, they'll make it happen. But in general, they're overlooked like their stuff like that, where it's like, why is she just mind wiping people and no one saying anything about it?
That was kind of crazy though when she mind wiped them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like
that's
a serious offense.
Right, and it was for a joke too, because she didn't want him to know that she thinks that he's stupid. It's like, really? You could have just said, I don't. I mean, I guess real quick, the final thing. The final thing really was just a lot of mechanical stuff, really, just like with the powers and like how like different. Oh no, well, I mean that too. Like that's the main problem with the movie is the mechanical stuff, like the world building. But I would say Adam Warlock, Jesus Christ, I actually wanted to like that character, man. And it's just like, there's no point of him being in this movie.
Yeah, honestly,
I agree.
Game Ninjas, you hyped him up, Adam Warlock, so hard. And I was in that movie. He was such a mama's boy. I was sitting there. I was like, "There's no way, bro. Ain't no way it's the same character he was talking about."
I'll take the fault. And yes, they did Adam Warlock very wrong in that movie. And on top of that, he shouldn't have been in that movie. And I will say, I will go on
Is
this.
this
I will
your
say on this
man, bro?
podcast. I will say on this podcast that I apologize.
Well, thank you.
Bro,
We accept the apology. Yes.
I was there hyped, bro. I was like, man, my man Game Ninja's over here. He's been hyping up this character. I'm about to see him, and he loses to the Guardians of the Galaxy, bro.
I will
I'm
agree.
like, you
I
are
don't
a
know what
Superman
happened.
level person if you don't just start snapping necks. I mean, he tried.
Bro,
I think the only argument to that is that it seemed like they was trying to make it seem like he was not old enough yet to know all his powers and stuff. And then I think towards the end of the movie, that's when he been doing it a couple times. That's when he started, I guess, learning his powers better. I guess I don't know.
honestly, I feel like they should have had a scene where they actually took him out of it and then like kind of have him, be his first time he's actually, actually operating in the real world versus like just having him out already. Because I feel like that it kind of established that he had a few days to learn something. Because think about it, he flew across space just to get Rocket and smash him through walls and windows. And
He could have just snatched him up. He could have grabbed him by the throat and flew straight
Bro,
into the atmosphere.
that was literally his goal, was to capture Rocket and leave. That's what the stupid part was. He smashed him through walls and then
Grab him by the neck, put him in a bag, fly into outer space.
That's literally what he could have did too.
Yeah.
And Rocket would have couldn't do anything. Oh, but okay, how that happen?
Except for Star-Lord, and Star-Lord can't do crap to him.
Yeah, I'm so mad because I'm looking at pictures of Adam Warlock right now, and I'm like, dang, he was supposed to he's supposed to be wearing the gauntlet with all the Infinity Stones and all this other stuff, and they just did him so wrong in that movie.
Man,
bro, I gotta go to Comic Story and now to learn more about Adam Warlock because they did him dirty.
Yeah, they did him dirty. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, I was like, dang, there was no reason for him to be in this movie, and my goodness. Also, I thought he was Harry Styles at first, or maybe what character at the end of whichever one of those Eternals. Okay, it was Eternals, but I thought it was Harry Styles that was supposed to be Adam Warlock, or was he something else?
You thinking Kit Harington, maybe?
No, I think
maybe so.
There's no way those two characters were both be the same, because if they recasted Adam Warlock that hard, then
let me see if I can pull up a picture. Harry Styles from Marvel. Wow, that search was so easy. Google already knew what I was going to say. Oh, you know what? He is somebody else. Yes. He was supposed to be. What was he supposed to be? Let me see. He is somebody else, though. He is somebody else.
Oh, what is it?
I just can't remember the guy's name right now, but I know who this character is, though.
Oh,
okay. When I find the name, I'll let you know. Oh, okay. He's supposed to be Thanos' brother, Eros. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, really?
There we go. Yeah. Yep.
Oh wait, I thought I forgot. I know Star Fox was a character. I thought Star Fox was Thanos' brother. I guess not.
I think he goes by both names. Eros is his real name. Star Fox is the Supergirl name.
Oh, because I know he was in Eternals.
Yeah. Yep. I pulled it up and that's what. Yeah. Star Fox return confirmed. Yeah. Yep. So we can go by Star Fox because that's also the correct name character.
Interesting.
For some reason, I just thought I couldn't remember. I thought he was Adam Warlock, I guess, and he wasn't. So,
but yeah. I don't know. Do you guys got anything more to say, or?
No, I feel like we got our points across pretty good on this. Like the movie is definitely the last Guardians or the current iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and don't expect to see any of the people characters again. I certainly don't. Maybe they'll do a cameo or two, but there's a lot worse ways to end the series. Even though it wasn't a perfect movie, it was, I would say, good enough, which is not a good thing to say about a Marvel movie.
Me personally, I guess closing thoughts. It was oh man, I think you're being too generous because man, I ain't gonna lie, this movie kind of fell apart for me. Jesus Christ, it's like so much wrong with that movie. Like mainly just with mechanical stuff. Like yeah, it was
We get you.
about
Nah,
4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Like, I'll just say 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Okay, well, okay.
Four.
So what's your
Give it a
rate?
solid 6.8.
At least, yeah, at least 6.
No, that's way too
6.8,
generous.
7.
I don't think it's a 7. Like sevens will I'll sit there and be like, wow, I that movie was just like good. Like it was a good movie. But like it wasn't like I would say it's less than a 7. It's less than like passing.
Well, I was about to say,
Slightly.
I would say you might be rating it off like the American grading system. I'm just saying like based on just like percentage wise. Cause I would say I know like with the American grading system, it's like 60% D and 50% F and 70.
I'm saying it's like a 3.4 out of 5. Like that's like a 3 is that was certainly a movie, and a 4 is like that's a good movie.
Yeah,
and I think it's somewhere in that lines where it's like I didn't waste my time by watching it, but at the same time, it just wasn't good enough for me to be like, wow, now that's a good movie.
Well, I hate to say it, I grew to hate this movie, sadly. But I'm glad that you're coming to the dark side, Game Ninjas, though. So that's good.
Oh, it's the dark side. What you mean?
Because of Adam. Well, because of Adam Warlock.
Oh yeah, no, they did Adam Warlock very wrong in that. I don't know what was wrong with that. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was a shame. But yeah, like I said, I'll also give it the same rating, a 3.5 out of 5 or a 6.8, maybe a 7, just a little bit for me because how much I like Rocket. But other than that, yeah, it's. I wouldn't like the movie was okay. Would I watch it again? Maybe.
I'll be honest. I think Rocket should have died in that movie. I know it's a weird take, but I think it would have been better as an emotional beat to like have him die fighting the High Evolutionary like on a ship.
Well, because like I was gonna say Rocket is more important than the rest of the Guardians.
All I have to say is we know that in most Marvel movies, nothing happens to the main characters.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, the amount of fake outs. Yes, the fake outs is crazy.
Yeah, I would say that was kind of crazy with those.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to get to the next topic now.
Yeah, we can.
I will, but I want to sidetrack real quick just to name the teams, like the different little superhero teams.
Okay.
Because I put up a list.
It's not.
I don't know if this person have them in order, but he put all the Avenger related teams first because it's just that many. Because like the Avengers, Young Avengers, New Avengers, Avengers West Coast, Next Avengers. Skipping that one because that's not worth it. Great Lakes Avengers.
Oh my god! Yeah, I would say some of these are going to be kind of obscure unless we see like a picture or something. Well, then also a lot of all teams are kind of recycled people.
Yeah, I agree. All these Avengers though are like well known, like all the Avenger teams per se, like the regular Avengers, Young Avengers, New Avengers, because the New Avengers have all the newer Marvel characters that's in rotation right now, like Squirrel Girl and the Hulk's son and different stuff like that. So. Avengers on the West Coast are the Avengers that like just travel a lot, essentially. So like Chaz and Gwenpool and blah blah. Katie Bishop, I believe. Her name's not Bishop, but the girl who was trained by Hawkeye, that girl is also in that one. Next Avengers are the ones from the future. That's the kids of all the actual Avengers. They got Pet Avengers in here. That's the one I skipped, so I guess we ain't got to talk about that. But Great Lakes is also the one with Squirrel Girl and some other ones. This is the more cartoony aspect, funny gag one that they came up with, following the hype of Squirrel Girl. It's herself. Then you got some other groups here like Thor Corpse. That's just all the Thors from different timelines. Not timelines. They all in the same timeline, but they all have the ability to wield the hammer. The New Warriors. Then you got the X-Men and all the X-Men different spinoffs. So like X Factor, X Force, Fallen Angels. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess the reason why I pulled up this list to begin with was just saying that like the major groups that's more talked about are like all the Avenger spinoffs, all the X-Men spinoffs, as this person has it in this order. And then you have like Fantastic Four, then you have like the Inhumans,
Forgot about the
Garden.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four is like now that I think about it, not to put the disrespect of Fantastic Four, they are highly thought about, and I will say that's the third group. If we was going
Highly
with that
favored.
order, yeah, Inhumans would be fourth. I will say that because there's more people who know about the Inhumans than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Then you got the Secret Avengers. That's a little bit less known than the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I guess what about the Illuminati? Does that count?
He
I'll
actually
put
does.
that
He actually
below.
doesn't. I'll put that below. Yeah, but he don't have it on here. Actually, funny enough, he has Defenders on here, but he has the Defenders where Doctor Strange is in the Defenders. But Doctor Strange, Beast, and all the rest of these people, but he don't have the original Defenders picture up, and I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Mm.
Then the Marvels, that's like a newer one, but yeah. So he got a bunch of them on here. I could share screen this, but
Did you hear? This is another side note. Did you hear that they killed off Miss Marvel in the comic books, like in the mainline comic book series?
What the Pakistani one?
Yes.
Dang.
In the comics. Well, I mean, first of all, all the Marvels like Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, they can't sell their comic books for nothing. They keep trying. They reboot it, but they can't. Like they keep canceling them after like the third book.
That's true. I will say like the Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel books are like not as entertaining as others. The only entertaining the Marvels ever bring to anything is when they had the Marvels, and that's with Blue Marvel, Photon, and Captain Marvel, and I think Miss Marvel was a part of it too for a certain period of time. So that's the only time they actually they actually had like a series because more people were interested in Blue Marvel and Photon than they were in Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. So
you know what's funny? Miss Marvel is one of those characters, kind of like Miles Morales for me. I guess segue, but it's like
that's perfect segue.
I was gonna say mainly because she's a character that I feel like could have been likable if they gave her the Miles Morales treatment, where she kind of had her own backstory and her backstory that was kind of relatable and kind of unique. Versus when you read the actual comic of how she got her powers and stuff, it's kind of very generic and just like okay. Like I don't know. It's like you could tell she's kind of a carbon copy. Like they just threw the powers at her. Just said, "Oh, she was in a mystical
the correct
fog."
Term is she's a character insert.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that. Yeah, it was funny. It's actually like the old Miss Marvel with the black suit and the mask and stuff.
I think the old Miss Marvel suit is amazing. Like one of the best superhero suits ever. Like I'll put it in the top 100.
The Miss Marvel, the old Miss Marvel, quote unquote, is Captain Marvel. So
yeah, I know. I mean, like, I know. No, I mean, like with the mask and like the dark sheen on it. I don't mean like the recent like Captain Marvel. I think her suit is
just a red
average suit. Mm-hmm. But like the classic one, like when Rogue, I keep want to call her Rouge, but when Rogue like stole her powers and flew around for a time in the comics, like that. Miss Marvel.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it sucks that they got rid of her too. Damn. But yeah, no, I wish she was more like Miles Morales. I would say because I would say
like the Amazing Spider-Man, like when they were doing the Amazing run and like they came out with Miles Morales and the fact that they got rid of Spider-Man and really put him in his own compared to like the Iron Man rebrand, or I think it was Ironheart.
Yeah.
It's just so night and day on like the quality of Miles versus everyone else in that like time frame. Even now, like Miles is eating, bro. Miles, he's out here taking the breakfast, lunch, and dinner from Ironheart. And like
well, I'll say quick caveat though. I will say the comics don't really do him much justice. It's really the movies that do him justice.
It is because I would say the comic book industry right now is kind of like
Well,
Most of the stories.
Sorry.
I
Keep
was
going.
gonna say most of the stories are kind of like fading away. That they're not really doing good in sales and stuff. The movies and the games are really doing the justice of Miles right now. I'm not gonna even cap to you. Like the movies, way better storyline than what's going on in the comics.
Well, the original running of the Amazing Spider-Man, I thought was personally, or not amazing, Ultimate. It was the Ultimate series. The first like couple of books of the Ultimate series, I would say was great.
Yeah,
And I think that they did a great job with like introducing the world and having him like be Spider-Man alone. That's the thing about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, typically speaking, especially for like if you wanted to be a long-running comic book or a long-running series, he works best alone. And it's because Spider-Man's supposed to be like the everyday person. He's supposed to be like if a regular person got superpowers, like would they do the right thing? And Spider-Man's supposed to be like an inspiration to that like morality. And it's very hard to be like that when you got people to backpack you like Iron Man or or people like Captain Marvel who can come and sweep up messes. Like Spider-Man is the best when it's just him. You're the last one standing, finish the mission. And the Ultimate series with Miles Morales, and even in the recent Spider-Man movie, where it's pretty much him working alone, even though there's multiple Spider-Man in there, he's pretty much alone. And like the movie does a great job of bringing that feeling of you're the last one left, finish the mission.
I get you. Yeah.
They said that for the newest one or the
Yeah, I'm saying for the newest one, not the I mean, even for the previous one, they had that, they gave him the moment, they gave him the Spider-Man moment in the original Into the Spider-Verse, or the original, I forget the name of it, they're all something Spider-Verse. But when he pushed the old man Peter into the portal and he fought Kingpin alone, great Spider-Man moment right there. Gave it to him.
Yeah, honestly, I hate to say I think the first one was better than the second one, though.
Wait, which ones we talking about? Sorry, I was reading.
We're talking about what's the name of the one that just came out that we just saw?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Thank you. And
You said the second one's better than the first one? I agree
no,
with
he
that.
said the first one's better than the second one.
Oh.
Yeah, mainly because the story is just more solid and grounded, and like everything kind of flows and it's consistent. Versus this one, they kind of use a higher concept and it kind of opens more problems than it solves.
I feel like
I
that's,
think
that's a
the
personal
higher
vendetta.
concept thing. I'm going to first talk about the good because my man Mel Fables enjoys bringing up the bad things first.
I agree. But hold on, before we
as a learning experience, yes.
Before we jump into that, I do see the I was reading an article about the about her dying. She really did die. But yeah, so on May 17th, they said next week's issue for because she didn't have an ongoing series at the moment, so she just been in the newer Amazing Spider-Man comics as like someone who's in and out of it. And I guess in the newest issue for Spider-Man, she was gonna die in that, or she died in that, as it showed a panel of her dying. So with like her and Fantastic Four standing around her with Spider-Man holding her, dying.
Dang. I said they could have made her likable, but sadly not.
So many people were upset because she died in a Spider-Man comic and not in her own comic, which is kind of dirty if you think about it. But her comics don't do good enough for her to like have a series that go long enough for her death to be meaningful. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I saw that. People were outraged. But I mean, I didn't know she had that many fans. Why didn't y'all read her stuff?
The only fans or something happened.
Yeah.
But they're the type of fans that don't show up until it's already gone.
Yeah, it's already too late. People want her to have people want to relaunch her and have her have a solo.
They keep trying.
I know they keep trying. I know. It's just yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you want from Marvel, okay? If the character not doing good, the character not doing good. They at the end of the day, they can't just be wasting paper. No, it's like,
Like the industry's already not doing good. Why would we sell stuff that we know ain't going to make money? It's like DC and Batman. Yeah, of course we ain't going to make Batman because Batman's making us money.
exactly.
Yeah, back. I'm not sure if you want to talk about Spider-Man right now, though.
We are.
So the good things about the Spider-Man movie is that they keep the story super consistent from like the previous Spider-Man stories, and they do a good job of not retconning to like they do retcon a few things, but they don't retcon like they
Major
like
things.
certain things, like especially in a movie that is interdimensional travel and stuff. They do not retcon like any of the stuff that happened in the previous movie. And you know that's takes good writers, and also the fact that they implemented all the Spider-Man like, and I freaking loved it. I was like, man, I really want to see Spider-Man Unlimited. Like I know his like the Spider-Man Unlimited series is trash, and like I know that version of Peter Parker isn't very interesting, but like man, is that suit like a 10 out of 10. I love the Ultimate Spider. And then they showed him and he was over there flexing. I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted. That's and they had Spectacular Spider-Man on there. Like they went deep into their catalog for Spectacular.
Yeah, they went hard. I'll say, I know because my face was going to rip into the storyline and all that stuff, but they went hard. Like the visuals was hard, the drawing styles were hard when they were switching between them and stuff. They went hard when they was doing like switching between the live action to cartoon they went hard in this movie. I ain't gonna lie to you.
They let the artist cook. like even more so than the first one.
I'm like, let them cook, bro. Hey, Spot was like, in real world, he was just like, hey, help me out. And then Blade was just like, what? I was just like, bro, there was no need for this. They cooked for real. Let them cook.
They had the Spider-Man from the Spider-Man video games. They had the Spider-Man from the real life Spider-Man stuff. Like they went all in. And like especially they at the beginning of the movie they said comic book board approved. And I was like, what does that even mean? And after watching the movie, I would say out of all the other Marvel movies and stuff that I've seen, this one was comic book approved. And this also was the first time they had Spider-Man 2099 on film. And let me tell you, even though like he has a bunch of weird stuff about him about being a vampire spider person without any actual Spider-Man powers, like, and they did him so right in that movie. Where they had him like a dark brooding person. They had the AI for him, the AI companion that I forgot about until she showed up. Like, oh yeah, his suit has an AI companion that he can't turn off. And you know, like even Miles at like the halfway point in the movie was like, oh, like, do you even have spider powers? Which he doesn't really. And his suit carries him, but his suit's a 12 out of 10. Like his suit's the best looking Spider-Man, one of the best looking Spider-Man suits of all time. I don't care what anyone says, isn't like the top 5.
It's top 5 for me too. I ain't gonna lie. It's pretty good.
And that movie was just like it was like watching Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home, but like you had everyone there. And they did it right. They did the Spider-Man they did the Spider-Man area right. They did the Spider-Man quips right. They I don't know. It's just, and they also weren't going off of the recent or the current Spider-Man universe, Spider-Man where he's not with Mary Jane because he sold his relationship to the metaphorical Marvel devil. Well, they did all the right things.
Yeah, no, that movie went crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like if there was a movie to see, for sure that one. That movie went crazy.
If you were a Spider-Man fan, this just like No Way Home is the movie for you. This is the movie for you.
Shoot, if you're not a Spider-Man fan, this will make you one. That's
And then like even keeping Miles' story grounded and like making it so like again have him in the Spider-Man situation where like he's in a desperate situation and there's no help. There's almost no backup here. And like him out thinking and them thinking that he didn't have a plan the whole time. I was thinking he didn't have a plan. And it was like, oh no, there's a plan. I was like, dang, bro.
Yeah, all the Spider-Mans got played. Spider-Man playing the Spider-Man. That's why he's the best one.
I want to. I mean, he has the best in terms of powers, but like, you know, the classic Spider-Man. There's a reason why the red and blue one ain't ever going to go out of style.
Miles go out of style, but he's like, again, Miles is the best Spider-Man. Comic book logic wise. That's why it was selling. Okay.
He did revitalize the comic book industry for a little bit. You know, I was at least for Marvel. He did do it.
Yeah, at least in the comic book, in his comic book, I don't think they stated, but he's smarter than all the other Spider-Mans, and plus he has the extra abilities and stuff too. So it's just like, you know, he's like a direct upgrade to the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Is what I'm gonna say. There you go.
Do you have any good things to say about it, Game Ninjas? Any good things to say about the movie?
I think you said you hit the points, all of them. To be honest with you, I don't even have. See, as soon as Mount Fables opens his mouth and starts talking bad about the movie, that's when I'm be like, I guess, or this or that. But yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about the movie at this current moment.
I have a few bad things to say about it, but I want Mount Fables to go into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the floor to Mount Fables, and then I think I'm gonna be more needed in arguing points than no. I was like, anyways, Mount Fables, you got the floor. Go ahead and rip into the movie.
Alrighty, so after being so patient of hearing you guys' phrase, sadly I have to be the bad guy, the Mr. Grinch, if you will, of stealing people's happiness from the movie. And I mean, look, I'll say this. I guess to start off with the good, right? So
wait, before you start, rate the movie real quick. Out of 10 or out of 5, whichever one.
Probably a 5.
Out of
5 out of 10 or 5 out of 5?
well, I mean, it can't be perfect.
Wow.
Well, I mean, a 5 movie doesn't have to be perfect. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect movie.
Well, no, I didn't say it had to be perfect. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Well, yeah, you just said what I said.
Oh, so it's a 5 out of 5 then?
No, 5 out of 10. No, when I'm saying this, it's not perfect. Like if it was perfect, it would be 5 out of 5, which is 100%.
Oh my goodness, bro!
Y'all thought it was perfect?
No.
Yeah, I thought the movie was at least an 8 out of 10. I ain't gonna
Yeah, I will give it either a 4 out of 5 or a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah. Like, this movie was so good that I'll probably go buy this movie.
Like, I want to own the whole trilogy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me tell you. Well, I want to go buy the first Jordans that came out with the first movie, because I didn't even realize they came out with the first movie, and then I have the second ones to the second movie already. And they come out with a third pair of Jordans for the third movie, which would be a cash grab from Nike, but it's okay.
Prowler about to be rocking them shoes. They're going to be the Prowler Extremes, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Other half miles, bro.
I can't wait, bro.
Black and purple, all the way,
bro. I can't.
Sorry. Carry on, Fable.
Yeah, we didn't mean to cut you off, but if they come out with a third shoe for the third movie, though, I'm copping.
Yeah, they're just gonna just have it made in sweatshop in China and just put the brand on it and be like, oh yeah, look, new innovative shoe. Look at that.
Hey man, we appreciate the sweatshops. If those families would be starving even worse if it weren't for them children and those.
No, believe me, no, I don't care. No, it's a good thing they got those sweatshops. But I was just saying, you probably better off buying a replica.
Wow.
It's the same thing. But I mean, no, that's not even disrespectful though. Like it's
bro,
the same
crazy.
thing.
That's great.
I'm not even in the shoes, and I know what you just said is illegal. Bro, if you don't start cutting to the movie,
Buying cloth is illegal?
nah, cut into the
my
movie.
gosh.
Get into the movie.
Yeah, you trying to have people hate us? Come on now, dang.
Well, I mean,
They ain't gonna hate us from your points. They gonna hate us because you just said reps aren't the same.
Cut into it.
Yeah, y'all making me want to deviate because y'all saying some weird stuff. Look, okay, all right. So, good things, artistic style on point, but I will say wait, hold on, dang, let me finish. Jesus. Look, now all I will say is that if you have an epilepsy kind of symptoms or whatever, you probably should watch this movie because Jesus Christ, I'm not gonna lie. The artistic style, as I said, was on point. They let them cook. But I would say this is kind of well done cooking, a little over well done cooking, mainly because it's a lot of like contrasting colors that were in the movie. Because the other thing, it's based on a style that they chose, which is from different multiverses, different styles of people. Yeah. Like even like the starting of the scene where it was like the 3D models versus the 2D paper mache, vulture guy. Like even that is kind of a weird contrast for the eyes to look at. Especially since his style is kind of more like sketchy drawn. So it might be kind of hard to interpolate like his form and his values. Like, you gotta think I'm an artist, so I'm kind of like viewing it from that perspective.
Yeah. That scene went crazy too. I ain't gonna lie. They did a really great job on that scene.
Well, I kind of, but I kind of don't like how, I feel like he had too much technology for a person to be from the 16th century.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
I was like, he cut his wing and his wing grew back. I'm like, huh?
Was dropping bombs like the Green Goblin. I was like, okay, come on, man. That's a
I'm like, whatever multiverse universe he's from, whatever planet thing he's from, like when he cut the wing off and then he just. Oh wait, spoilers by the way, guys.
Oh yeah,
and he just whipped out another one. I was just like, what the heck is going on?
Hammer space.
Right.
Bro, they had subtitles up there like it was a comic. And like there's a reason why you don't do that in movies. Because what's a good time frame of leaving that up there? Like I read it and I read the hammer space thing, but like Uni was right next to me and she didn't read it. And it was like, oh, he has hammer space. And like that didn't pop up again for the entire movie because there weren't that many like gag characters this time around. But it's essentially the hammer space was like how the Peter Porker could whip out items in the previous movie out of nowhere. That was the hammer space, where it's like the comedic area where you can whip out things like behind. Like you can reach in your back pocket and pull out things that shouldn't fit in there. That's hammer space. That's how they described it in the is essentially the bag of infinite holding, which certain universes have access to.
I see. But go ahead, my Fables. We ain't gonna cut you off anymore.
Well, I mean, as I said, the art style was pretty interesting. I mean, I will say, as I said, from all the different art styles, you might get your eyes might just hurt just a tiny bit from looking at the different styles and how they changed in hues and contrast and values and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, and as I said, it was pretty good. Another good thing I would say is, I would say, I'm trying to think. I would. Well, I will say sometimes when I say the bad thing, it might help me think about a good thing because I might try to have like an internal conflict with like some of the things I think. But I will say okay. So some of the scenes where like he was kind of talking to the parents and like it was kind of like he's trying to tell the parents who he is and stuff like that, like kind of like the basic Spider-Man struggles with the whole telling him about his identity to his parents and like where he's been and stuff. I think that stuff was pretty cool in itself. As I said, it's very reminiscent of how Spider-Man should be, struggling with life and always being gone and people wondering where he is and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. I will say some of the scenes do kind of repeat too much because like when he talked to his parents about I'm and then he's almost about to say it and then he just kind of gives up. That kind of happens a little too redundantly sometimes. And I think another thing too, like with the scene with him when he was fighting Spot, like after he fought Spot and he was kind of talking to his dad, still in his uniform. I think he didn't really say enough in that scene. Like I feel like there should have been a more meaningful conversation between those two. Versus I feel like what we saw in the movie, he didn't really have too much to say to his dad other than, "Oh, you should let him spread his wings, man." And he just looked at him crazy, and then I think he said something else, and then he just walked off. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, dang."
Maybe it was a struggle for him to, talk because he was trying to mask his voice and he was just trying to hurry up and get out of there.
And I would say too.
Well, I mean,
especially-
I'm asking your voice. I wouldn't say that would make you struggle with your thoughts, though.
if I was in that situation and like I was speaking to my dad as Spider-Man, I would try to leave as soon as possible. Just because like talking to him means a greater chance of exposing yourself. And I'm thinking of like all the gripes I have with the movie too. And I'm more of like the spoiler area. So if you're more surface level, I don't want to talk about too many spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler guy, by
and
the way, guys. I'm gonna probably put that in. When I make the recording now,
I'll just say a spoiler alert, which is one of my things and one of the dumbest things about the movie. Is the fact that the sergeants, them saying that anyone related to Spider-Man who's like a sergeant has to die.
Yeah.
And like in the Spider-Man thing, I'm like, oh my god, captain. My dad was just promoted to captain. I'm like, does this really have to do with anything that's happening right now? And the crazy thing is, when you think about like the previous like live action Spider-Man movies or even like the Spider-Man video game, in the Amazing Spider-Man, Liz's dad dies and then Liz dies.
Dang.
In the Spider-Man video game, his dad was, I think he was just a regular officer, I don't remember, but he dies too. I'm like, dang, like I guess this is kind of a running trope, but I just never noticed that it was a running trope that if you're a police captain associated with Spider-Man, you're cooked. And I guess it's just a constant, it's a written law, it's a space-time continuum that if you're a captain, you're going to die. Don't talk to Spider-Man. If you're not trying to arrest Spider-Man, you're going to die.
Well, actually, what's funny, that's probably a good segue into one of the major problems I think this movie has is
my boy said, quote unquote, major problem. That's crazy.
See, the reason I say that though is because, well, it's good. It's because, like, okay, so when you have a high concept like time travel or multiversal hopping or just like any type of high scientific concept, you have to smartly write it. Like that's where a lot of philosophy kind of comes in. And I would say this movie was kind of lacking that, mainly because okay, so the whole premise in itself where, oh well, the spider went to the wrong universe, and since it went to the wrong universe, well, yeah, I think it went to the wrong universe, and it was supposed to bite. Oh no, actually, I think it was in the right universe, or was it? Or
what happened? If you want to say it, and then just
you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
So what happened was when they were doing their interdimensional research with Kingpin in the previous movie, they pulled out the spider on accident, like from another universe, the universe 42, and they numbered it 42. And then when Spider-Man attacked the particle collider for the first time, he accidentally like let it loose, and that's what got him his spider bite. And the whole point of like 29/9 and the reason why they didn't invite Miles to the Great Spider-Man Symposium in the dimension in between is because he wasn't supposed to get that spider. That spider was supposed to go to another Peter Parker, and instead that Peter Parker died, and that was the whole point of the movie on why he couldn't be invited to the Hall of Spider-Man.
Wait, hold on. This is getting confusing now because didn't he fight Kingpin when he had the power?
So on the first engagement at the beginning of the first of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Miles goes down into the thing because he was hanging out with his uncle, and he hears Spider-Man fighting the particle collider in the sewers, and then that's when he got bitten by the spider.
Yeah.
And then he escapes.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was about to say like when the collider...
original Spider-Man was the issue, and then my man 2099 said that Spider-Man could have just walked it off. He would have survived. Like he would have been cooked if Miles was there. If he wasn't.
Well, yeah, but basically what I'm saying
rubble, and he was like, "Oh no, man, I always good. Just get out of here." And he got cooked.
Well, I will say that the collider, like when it exploded, that's what gave Spot his powers.
Yeah. During the explosion at the end of the movie.
So the spider was made at they pulled it out at the beginning of the movie. Then at the end of the movie, when the collider exploded, that's what gave Spot his powers, because he was in the lab trying to do something.
Yeah, he was trying to pull out like the power source or something like that, and he was too close.
Oh, okay. So yeah, basically it was from a different universe. But basically what I was saying though is it came from a different universe and wait, no, then that doesn't make sense in itself, because they were saying that it came from the wrong universe and bit the wrong person. But it bit like, if they said it should have bit Peter Parker, but well, I mean, it came from the wrong universe in general, so it shouldn't even been there in the first place.
Scientists pulled it from Universe 42.
Yeah.
So that's what he means by Spider-Man 2099 is placing the blame on Miles like it's his fault, but is, as what we witnessed, we know it's not Miles' fault that he got bit by the spider, and there's no reason why Spider-Man 2099 should be.
Well, no. He didn't put the blame on him because he knows the history already. He was just saying
angry.
He was just mad because Miles saved the chief, or not chief, the captain, and
in the other universe. He was mad at him for multiple reasons.
He was mad at him for multiple reasons, yeah. But and then he was mad that he was running away and all that stuff too. But yeah, he was mad at him because of he did an anomaly which messed up that universe that he just came from. So
Universe 42 was now a messed up universe because the spider was pulled out.
So that wasn't even his fault.
Not the spider. No, not the spider. He was mad at him because of the Indian Spider-Man. Because he saved the captain. He saved the captain from that, and he messed up basically that universe because now the captain's not dead in that universe.
Look, I was about to say, I mean, so was there a Peter Parker and Miles Morales universe?
So but he died.
That's the confusion I'm having though, because they're saying the wrong spider came from a different universe and bit the wrong person in the wrong universe, but it shouldn't have even bit Peter Parker anyway. Peter Parker should have died anyway in Miles Morales' universe because it wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. It should have bit the Peter Parker in its own universe.
Yes, that was the point. That's why he was upset, or that's why he was talking to him about. He was like, that universe is messed up.
He wasn't upset
because that universe doesn't have a Spider-Man.
No. He wasn't upset. Technically, he wasn't upset.
He wasn't upset. He was like yelling at him about it. Like after
he was already mad. Yeah, he was already mad, but then he was telling him the truth in a mad way.
Wait, is it technically Gwen's universe then? Like,
let me explain it. Real quick.
Yeah.
So, at the beginning of the movie, it was Spider-Man was at the beginning of Miles Morales, wasn't he? At the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was
universes one was there.
So the original Spider-Man from Miles Morales' universe was there, and the spider technically wouldn't have bit Peter Parker in Miles Morales' universe because he already has the powers, and the spider found himself with Miles. So Miles got bit, and that's why he became a Spider-Man too. So it was two Spider-Mans in the same universe.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, I'm starting to remember now because he already had the powers.
like the video game. They got the new video game coming out.
Yeah, I was like, he already had the powers though. So the spider biting Miles Morales. Now it's starting to add up for me now. Because I do remember there was already a Spider-Man, but Kingpin killed him.
Yeah. He was trying to save I think Miles or something like that, and Kingpin killed him in the process of what was going on.
Well, he was trapped under rubble. He was cooked.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. Then it was that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, well, I was just about to say, yeah. So that makes sense now. So really, truly, he was just mad just because the spider went to the wrong universe and bit the wrong person.
Well,
It wasn't because of Peter Parker.
So 2099 was mad at Miles because he made an anomaly in a totally different universe because he saved the captain. And plus, Miles.
Wait, I thought it was.
Why does this have to?
Yeah, then he explained to him about the spider bite, and also the fact that the spider was from Universe 42, and he was transported to that universe at the end of the movie.
That
was
that nigga 2099 fed up.
Well, yeah,
he went to the wrong universe, and then when he revealed that he was Spider-Man to the wrong universe's mom, she's like, "Who is that?" Because there was no Spider-Man in that universe.
Exactly. Yep. Change your hairstyle. I'm like, change your hairstyle. I was confused. I ain't gonna lie. I was confused there too. I'm over here like, change his hairstyle.
No, the thing is, I caught like they actually visibly show you that he was getting transported to Universe 42 when like the thing was going. But my brain didn't put 2 and 2 together that the 40 that we've already been explained to multiple times that
he's from a different
42 was the Spider's universe. And so when he was there, I was like, "What do you mean it's wrong?" I was like, "Oh my god, they literally showed us everything that was messed up from the beginning," and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I didn't even know what universe number he was from until they showed it on screen.
Yeah, they did a good job, like going back and forth with Gwen and Miles.
And I agree.
Because everybody else was in the correct universe, and he was the only person in the wrong universe. And I was just like, dang, that's crazy. But sorry, we didn't want to take over your shine on my Fables, but I think we helped you understand something.
Yeah, so really and truly, I'm not sure my argument kind of falls apart because I think really and truly that's the spider really isn't the point of contention. Because I was gonna say really my argument was gonna be that technically when it comes to the multiverse and how things work, right? You could argue there's a level of predeterminism there because if a multiverse exists, that technically proves that every decision is already made. So you can't really do anything different because the universe that you did something different already exists. So, but then again, that kind of creates a caveat in itself because the problem is people use multiverse and timeline interchangeably. And that's actually incorrect. Timelines are different decisions. Multiverses are different, like properties. Like the universe just doesn't work the same.
You know what's funny too? So there's a few problems with like the fact that 2099 and the fact that you're bringing up time travel is because Spider-Man 2099 is from the year 2099,
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And how is he there as like a 30-year-old, Miles like 10 or Miles 15, right? We have a Spider-Man who's 30. Like, I guess maybe for Peter Parker is a little bit less egregious because, like, the birth of Peter Parker can probably change plus or minus 30, 40 years if you really wanted it to. But Spider-Man 2099, the fact that he's there with future tech and the fact that he's comic book accurate, which means that he has to be from the future, which also means that this whole scenario kind of doesn't make sense for him, at least. And Spider-Man Unlimited technically is from like a future timeline too. So it's kind of like they had the 2D Spider-Man there too, and there's time and dimensional hopping going around. And technically, if you can dimensional hop, you probably can time travel too, but they didn't bring up time traveling and stuff. And I was like, they kind of were doing the gray area thing. And then on top, and the fact that they're going to tell Miles that, Miles already knew that his dad was going to die. He was going to probably try and save him anyways, but they're going to tell him the truth and expect him to not try to save, every Spider-Man here is going to try to save their family. Like, why were we going to stop him at this point? We know everyone here. Like, sort of like what the Rockstar Spider-Man did. It's like we know if we were in that position, we will break out too, and we would go and try to save our father. Aunt May ain't gonna die on my watch. Type of.
I
thing.
appreciate the I appreciate how they did all the well-known Spider-Mans too, like Spider-Punk, which is the Rockstar Spider-Man, as you said. Spider-Punk,
Spider-Punk
Scarlet Spider, which is been the guy who was all like my muscles and
that's the Scarlet Spider. I thought that was Spider-Man Unlimited, but I think that was the Scarlet Spider.
That's Scarlet Spider.
That was the Scarlet Spider. Dang, I thought it was Unlimited.
I thought it said it in his little the box
box there was text. Boxes on boxes when they were introducing Spider-Man.
And then I also thought it was funny that they only had one Spider Woman in the in there as well. And I don't know what's the big deal with that one Spider Woman.
The pregnant one was getting on my nerves.
Oh yeah.
Why is she here? Somebody sit her down or take that baby out of her.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, what do you mean? Wow, I mean like safely take the baby out.
I will say this. That's one character where I was like, okay, but you're the only Spider Woman here.
Like, I loved her as a character, but the fact that she was pregnant and also the old man Spider bringing his child along too was getting on my nerves.
Yeah, I won't say it was getting on my nerves, but I just thought it was funny but weird. I'm like, what?
Like, why is she here? Like, why is this pregnant lady here, 8-9 months pregnant, like out here doing wheel punches, Robin style from Teen Titans Go? Like,
it's crazy that you just said 8-9 months pregnant though.
I mean, in order for you to be showing like that, you have to be pretty significantly in it. Like, I mean, she's in the 3rd trimester for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
And why is she here?
Oh, snap.
Ooh, that was an echo.
That was the ghost.
Oh, shit. Hey, oh my bad. Hold on.
That was you.
Real quick, I actually gotta leave on my phone. Can you accept me on the computer?
Yeah, I got you. Move that down, move him up.
Just like that. I think it's good now.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Dang, now you just beating everybody up. Nah, it's fine. But I guess while he's doing that, we can go ahead and finish our remarks. So we can let him go ahead and roast into the movie. But now that I think we explained the plot a little bit better, maybe he won't have that much to say.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's because my phone was dying, and I didn't know it was going to do that echo, but yeah, my phone was dying. I had to hurry up the switch. But okay, so basically, what I was saying though is okay, so this is actually something I'm doing like with my story right now, the thing I'm writing. So in terms of writing a multiverse, and this is my interpretation, going to a different universe with different properties and different rules will kind of have catastrophic effects, meaning, well, not necessarily in terms of like, you're glitching and you're going to destroy the universe, but more like you will literally die being exposed to these different rules. Like, because the physics is different in itself. So really and truly, the minute you go there is the minute you'll start like melting apart because the properties are different. But that, and also I mean, that's just my interpretation of how the physics would work. Since it's different physics, just things will behave differently. Also, what I was saying is that, like, back to the predeterminism thing, right? The people are kind of like, some of them are mad. I mean, the future Spider-Man is mad because the spider bit Miles Morales, which caused the other one to die since he was supposed to get the bite. But really and truly, I'd argue that's a form of predeterminism in itself, because I'd argue that spider was meant to do that.
Wait, real quick though, I don't think he was mad because of that.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I feel like my argument maybe fall apart there, because I feel like he was though, because I think he explicitly said it on the train though.
He probably was just mad because he was getting beat up. I ain't gonna cap, but that's.
I mean, yeah, sure, maybe I would say.
He was. because he was more mad that he made the anomaly in that other universe over, and more mad that he broke out to go he broke out to go try to save his father when his father has to die and make another anomaly than he was about the spider. I don't think he cares about the spider. I think for the most part he's just like, you wasn't supposed to be here, and now you about to go
Why
make
we
another
didn't invite
anomaly.
you?
Yeah. Wait, what? Say again.
So it's like you're not even supposed to be a Spider-Man, which is why we didn't invite you here.
Yeah, exactly. Man. No,
Well, yeah, but I would say another thing. Mainly, honestly, I would say that was probably the main thing in itself. Is probably like just like the science behind the multiverse and stuff. I know there's another scene, kind of like how where like he was. That's okay. I just remember it now. So the big conflict with the plot. So the whole thing was that Miles Morales, he had to let his dad die in order to, I guess, have things be straight again. First off, now with the whole multiverse thing, tying back into it, I think it would be reasonable to say that even though the story kind of established it to be different, where it's like, oh well, someone dying in Spider-Man's life is critical in his life for him to become Spider-Man, because that's what connects them all, and that's the Spider-Verse and whatever, right? But really truly in a real multiverse kind of writing setting, that wouldn't make any sense, because in the infinite possibilities there will be Peter Parkers who didn't have anyone die in their life. Like there's going to be some Peter Parkers that have 2-parent households and are raised with the white picket fence and everything, and they became Peter Parker. There might be some rich Peter Parkers. There might be some Peter Parkers who from another planet. Like, you know what I mean? So I think they didn't really capitalize on that kind of multiversal aspect. And as I said, that's just based on the infinite possibilities that exist. I mean, they did different art styles. That's pretty nice, but they didn't really do different stuff like I just outlined. But okay, so with the plot though, so in terms of like his dad having to die, I think it didn't make any sense for the people to bring him there and for the future Spider-Man to tell him that. Because the reason I say it don't make any sense is because if you tell him, that he's going to try to stop it from happening, right? So it would have been actually logical to and this is how I would actually rewrite the scene, right? So they should have had it to where Peter Parker, he actually tried. I mean, not Peter Parker. Well, I forgot his name. The future Spider-Man. They probably should have just kept. You said who?
Miguel.
Oh yes.
Or you could just say Spider-Man 2099. That's fine too.
Okay, so 2099. Yeah. Him. What they should have did is that they should have just kept him there. Like just kept them there, fed on food, give them some, housing, just have fun with them, play volleyball, whatever, right? It actually would have been better because they would be distracting him from that possibility versus telling him, hey, this will happen. You got to deal with it. He's not going to deal with it. So he would try to escape. So honestly, I think what would have been better is like they would have distracted him at first, and then maybe the secret got out somehow, or he somehow found out, maybe going through like the computer. Like he just got curious because like maybe like the future Spider-Man was acting very suspicious around him, and he just had to like kind of investigate his work and see what he was doing. And then eventually he found out that through the possibilities, he was doing the research on like how to prevent like these universes from collapsing, and he realized that his father had to die to prevent this universe from collapsing. So he's trying to escape now because he realized that these people are distracting him from saving his father. And I think that would have been a better story beat versus just telling him straight up and him trying to escape that way.
That does bring up a good point, and I actually thought about it when I saw the movie too. However, the counter argument, which is something that Miguel and the rest of Spider-Man didn't know, is that Spot showed him the future already. It showed him what was predetermined to happen. So Miles
sorry, I meant to
knew his dad was supposed to die.
Well, sorry, I actually meant to bring that up too. That actually might be another way you could have it like the way I was saying, where how
Yeah.
like, he saw the future already, so he didn't have to go through the computer. He just saw the future, and maybe he needed confirmation, and he was just asking, and everybody's being like dismissive about it. But like then he has to find out for himself, and he tries to leave just to see if it was true, and then I try to keep him there.
Or an even better thing is he came to the realization and he accidentally like says it out loud, and that would have caused the same thing. Whereas like you prevent the surgeon from dying. Like why is like I saw it from my vision with Spot. I saw him like he was mixed with my dad or something. They're like, he knows. And they're like, stop him.
It would have been better like they was trying to gaslight him. You're right.
But instead, they tell him, and then they try to capture him. But instead, they could have just had Miles come to the realization that him saving the sergeant, the captain, caused all this to happen. It's like, but his dad, according to Spot's vision, was going to be in the same situation, and then like he had to go and save his dad.
I guess the counter to this would be the reason why 2099 told him anyways is because he already saved that captain, which already messed up that universe. So he was telling him what he did wrong and why it was wrong. I guess the reason why I'm saying it, because I'm guessing the reason why he explained it to him was so he could understand why it had to be like this. And then it was like an intervention, like he said. You remember, because he was like, "Is this like an intervention?" Blah blah. That's why all the other Spider-Mans were there to give him support, because they all know that the captain has to die and someone close to him has to die. Yeah.
Well, I'd argue a counter argument to that counter argument is, I mean, yeah, sure, he could have told him that, but like it wouldn't make any sense in itself, because after he told him, he didn't care, because he only cared about his dad dying now. After that person didn't die, he was like, okay, yeah, that's messed up. You shouldn't have did that. Whatever. Now your dad has to die.
Well, he didn't say your dad has to. Well, I guess technically he did say that, but that he didn't say it like, oh, because this Spider-Man's captain didn't die, now your dad has to die. He was just saying that all captains have to die.
Well, and that could have been another thing to kind of like what I was saying is that like maybe he kind of found like Miles Morales. He wouldn't have told him directly that he shouldn't have saved the captain. What could have been better is like maybe Miles Morales was trying to like meet up with him one day and just like have a quick chat, but then he kind of overhears the future Spider-Man having a conversation with another person saying, "Dang it, Miles Morales shouldn't have saved that captain. Now he's gonna create this multiversal rift, and like the only way it'll kind of be prevented if he doesn't save his own dad."
Well, that's also why he was. That's why, because he was mad. Remember, you keep forgetting, he was mad that he did it in the first place.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is it would have been better if he was mad and he was venting his frustration with someone else that already knows, versus he venting his frustration to the person that he doesn't want to, kind of continue the prophecy of the destruction.
I guess so, but also think about it like this. He didn't say your dad had to die. He was just saying that all the captains have to die. And from elimination, this correlation, Miles was like, wait a minute. My dad's becoming a captain. So I mean, so 2099 or Miguel, whichever one you want to say, he didn't specify that his dad had to die. He just said all captains have to die.
Well, honestly, he could have just told his dad don't. Yeah, I could kind of see what you mean. So he could have probably tried to prevent that. But
yeah, so like Gwen's dad was supposed to die technically too. But
wait, no, my bad. No, I should keep saying it. No, yeah, he should have just told his dad not to be a captain, because then that would solve the problem.
Man, we both know that when
he was already becoming captain, though.
To happen is going to happen. He's going to say, "No, I'm going to be a captain, son."
Yeah, I was going to say he was already becoming a captain.
He could have took him to another country, kidnapped him. He could have taped him up. He could have blew up the police station, something. I'm just saying, like, and technically both outcomes actually logically would have flowed, because the universe wouldn't have fell apart and he wouldn't have became a captain, so it wouldn't even make any sense. So yeah, he wouldn't have died and nothing would have fell apart.
And I was just thinking about this in the middle of the conversation. This is just my brain, how it works. But the Spot, though, I feel like is a perfect villain for this series.
Yeah,
like a villain who can scale up to a multiversal event, but at first was kind of a joke. But like they didn't take him too seriously initially, and that was what caused the issue. feel like it matches this type of energy from the Across the Spider-Verse series perfectly, where it's just like a guy they didn't take seriously and they didn't really keep an eye on him too closely. Then all of a sudden he becomes a huge multiversal threat just because no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with you that I actually like Spot as a character, mainly because I have an affinity towards science characters and people who are smart. But I will say I didn't like his backstory and build up. But well, first off, let me kind of wrap up like what I was saying about the other kind of rewriting theory. To actually deal with Spot, kind of like how you said, I think another thing too would have been cool is that he would have had more dialogue with Spot, because Spot has this contention with him, and they should have had more dialogue between each other. You know, Miles Morales and Spot on like, well, why do you dislike me, and you know what's going on, what did I do, and like kind of just like figure out, like hammer out the differences that they have. And one thing that could have came out of that was Spot could have told him, hey man, that's why you saved that captain, didn't you? Well, guess what? Now your dad captain is going to die, or maybe he kind of just confirms his visions that he's seeing, because he starts seeing the visions once I think Spot becomes stronger or something like that.
When he was becoming stronger, he did say, "I'm gonna take everything from you." So
yeah, I would say maybe like his conversation with Spot, like Spot kind of confirms his vision. Like he doesn't say that his dad gonna die, but maybe he just kind of confirms his vision after the conversation ends with frustration, with him saying like, oh well, you know what, I'm gonna take everything from you, just don't you worry, those visions that you saw were true. And then
I'm saying he did say that in the movie though.
Well, I'm saying like it would have been better if they would have had a one-on-one conversation with each other, and then he said that versus
It kind of did.
I mean, they kind of
it went with the joke where like Miles wasn't taking him serious when he was trying to talk to him.
Yeah,
and like it's also, I feel like Peter probably would have did a much better job of like talking him down and saying like, you're not like this and blah blah blah, while Miles, this is clearly his first time having to talk down a villain, and he failed at it epically, and that was his moment right there to actually listen and talk to him and say like, better than this.
Well, what's even worse is, you know, when he kicked his own butt, quote unquote, which is haha funny. Look at the joke. It's like, but the moment was getting serious there at first. I was like, oh, okay, cool. He about to explain to everything what's going on, and then he kicked his own butt and lost. It was like, oh, well.
Yeah, the joke when he was like, I think I'm becoming a multiversal being right now. That was pretty hilarious. That was me. I think I'm ascending into a multiversal being. And but it's back to the point where we were talking about where Spider-Man talking or trying to help out his villains. When the more experienced Spider-Man came into No Way Home and they were working on antidotes with their for their the people who they fought in the past, and they're like, I wish I did more, and I wish, like, you can see like the experience difference between those Spider-Man where they immediately come in and they're like, you're not like this, or like trying to talk them down and stuff, when like Miles on his first time where all he had to do was just sit down and talk to him, like how the Flash talks to his villains type of thing. Whereas like you're better than this. You don't live life like this. Like that's all he needed at that moment to be stopped. And instead of that, Miles didn't take him seriously, tried to capture him and like say, oh, there's just a regular weekly villain stupidness. And now look at him. Since he didn't take him serious, he didn't try to talk him down, he didn't try to treat him like a human being, you treat him like a villain, and now look at the situation you're in.
Well, I think another thing too to kind of add to that, I'm gonna be honest, I would say it was partly Miles, but at the same time I'd argue it was partly Spot too. I think he was kind of written to really not listen to him, like where he actually, the few times he kind of tried to talk to him, where he's like, hey, what happened, hey, what's going on, why don't you like me? He's like, oh, it's okay, you'll find out. And then he just tries
that was later on. That was after he had his chance.
I mean, but I'd argue he only really had like one chance. And then after that chance of him kicking his own butt, he kind of just
no, it was before that. It was when he when he was trying to take the ATM in the beginning of the movie, and instead of like being like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? Like, what can I do? he was just like, I'm your villain and blah blah. Like, oh no, I don't remember you. It was just like, I'm just going to put you in jail. I have a place to go to. Like he didn't prioritize. He was like, you left in the middle of our fight. That's not cool.
Oh yeah.
It was like he wasn't taking it serious. He was just trying to go to a place, and now he's paying the price because he didn't treat his villain like him. And even like his other villains, like the guy who was in front of the train, he just shocked and kicked him out of the way and kept going. Now he might become the next multiversal threat.
Yeah, that was really funny. I ain't gonna lie.
It's just like he was showing that he was not caring about his villains, and like look at the consequences of your actions. Old man consequences. The other Spider-Man, the more experienced Spider-Man, be like, you're better than being the villain now. You're better than this. Now I gotta beat you down. Like you were trying to save people. Now look at you.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, I can kind of see your point of view on that one.
And that was his first chance, and he blew it.
Well, yeah, true. Well, I guess my other contention was Spot. Really, truly, my main contention was Spot because really, truly, the whole dialogue stuff is just me kind of thinking about just writing a scene. But my main contention with him is how he gets stronger. Because I feel like in the movie they probably should have had more scenes of him kind of building up to become strong, like because he's a science type character. So I feel like he should have done more research and them having more research scenes where he's kind of discovering his power, training with his power, figuring out how it works, how it ticks, like why he's able to have these powers and how he can improve and build upon it, versus him just going to different stations, different colliders, pressing buttons and becoming stronger.
Well, I think when they were showing him teleporting to different universes and saying that, oh, this is I'm becoming a multiversal. And then after when he came back and he tried to make a portal and he was like, oh, I can't. I need to probably do the same thing again. I think that was supposed to be it. They put him gaining power on the back burner, which I have to say works to the benefit of the movie because at the end of the day, I think the point of the movie was trying to show off the Spider-Man and like the relationship with Miles more than like Spot and Spot and how he gains power. It's not like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 where we're watching Electro like go to different power stations because Electro was a big driving factor or was one of the driving factors of that movie. And like him gaining power was like one of the main focus of the movie compared to in this movie where like Spot is definitely the main driver of the plot, but at the same time,
well, I'd argue it would be kind of like
he's
that.
The reason why Miles went to they just needed a good reason why Miles went out there, and explaining why he gained powers wasn't really necessary for the story they were trying to deliver.
Well, I'd argue it kind of was necessary if he's going to be the main villain.
But he kind of wasn't the main villain of this movie. Like he was like he kind of went from the A plot to the B plot.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It's more like they kind of stopped focusing on him, and since they were fighting each other, like he kind of got stronger and stronger. But honestly, that's why I said they should have added those supporting scenes where it shows him getting stronger while the others are just fighting and contending with each other.
The movie was 2.5 hours, like 2 hours and 15 minutes, somewhere in that range.
I think.
So, yeah, also they could have cut out some of the redundant scenes and actually just added that, like all the redundant scenes with the dialogue between him and his parents saying, "Oh, well, I'm Spider-Man."
I think they kept it in just for a more personal part for like the parents, because this is supposed to be a kids movie at the end of the day, so they want to appeal to the parents too. So they want to get the parent story down. Also.
I mean, I agree, but
it's more of an artistic choice, I feel, because they probably did have those scenes written in, because you see they did point their ways to it.
But basically what I'm saying is it's kind of redundant though, like how the dialogue goes. Like he doesn't really say much to them, and at the same time they kind of do most of the talking. And at the same time, like as I say, he doesn't really say anything. He just says, "Oh well, whatever. I'm just having a bad day. Sorry for being late." Like each conversation is kind of dismissive still until the last part, but at the same time, they don't really have any real dialogue there. It's just him being lost for words.
And I do see what you're saying. They definitely could have improved especially Spot's story, like his power acquisition. But again, I think it's more of an artistic choice that they took to appeal more to the parents who may be going through something like what Spider-Man parents are going through, and they're trying to make it more palpable to the parents.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
So when I was watching it with Uni, we were going through. It was like, man, like you would be just like this mom, just sitting here, is like, you're going to talk to me, and trying as hard as they can to get their child to talk. And,
well, because I was gonna say if they were to have scenes like that, they should have had it to where they were trying to talk to him, but he was just evading or leaving. Like basically make those scenes shorter because he didn't say anything anyway. So they might as well just make the scene shorter by him just leaving when they're trying to talk to him.
Well, I'll say this, just to counter all of this, that the movie was 2 hours and 16 minutes. So if anything, a long movie would be 3 hours. So they could have actually, instead of doing what they did at the end, they could have just actually kept going.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, that's my main argument too. Another argument is that they should have just slapped another 30, 45 minutes on and just ended it.
They could have, but it's definitely one would have been a rush ending. My thing too is this is why
not really. No, I disagree because as I said, there's movies with less run times with actually more in them that actually kind of builds up to that climax with the 3-act structure.
You know, the difference between those movies and this movie is that this is Spider-Man and this is going to make money. All right.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, that's the main justification. Yeah.
And,
I'll say this too.
Go on and just.
Okay, I was gonna say I'll say this too. I don't want them to rush the ending, so even though personally I don't like how the movie ended because that was just crazy. Even though I think that was a good idea to do it like that. But
sorry. Once you get done, I actually want to talk about the ending and how they could have redid it. But go ahead.
But before we talk about ending, I just wanted to say, oh no, did it leave my brain?
Okay, because
it's about the runtime and the 3 hours and shoving it in. It's like what I was explaining to Uni, where it's like a movie like Moana, where it could have easily been a 3-parter if they really wanted it to, and they chose not to. And I feel like they left a lot on the table for a movie like Moana, where they could have had her exploring the seas and done a lot more with what they had, and having like the scenes where she was in like the monster universe, or like, and they only had her there for like 20 minutes. They could have easily had that for like an hour at least. And they just kind of rushed through it. 40 minutes of the movie could have been just about the monster world. And they could have explored all like different areas of like, you know, Native Hawaiian culture, and we could have learned more. And the fact that they kept it within like an hour and a half type of movie, I feel like they did a disservice to Moana. And if they would have had this movie at like 2 hours and cut back on like the Spider-Man part, and with them being in like the Spider-Man Citadel, and like Miguel, his backstory, and like us learning about the Indian Spider-Man and like his stuff, they could have cut down on all of that. But like that definitely helped with like the aura of the movie, and just like me feeling like, man, this feels like an adventure.
Yeah, I think the amount of time they spent on everything only helped the movie, I think, in my opinion.
I can understand the parent thing and like them taking it, at least making it shorter, but I feel like that part of the movie was only around 15 minutes, which they definitely could have like included Spot's power acquisition over 5 minutes if they really wanted to. But again, it was.
I would say you have to count like Gwen and her father too, like those interactions.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. I feel like that one isn't as egregious as the Miles one, where he said that there was multiple times where he could have just walked away and they could have kept the scene shorter. Yeah. But you know, they wanted to show that he was struggling, and they wanted to show like he really does want to talk to them. But again, they did probably push it, but they couldn't just have him walk away either, because that would be against his like how he treats his family. So they could have just ran it so he wasn't in those situations, but they kept it in.
I think their decision to make a second movie I mean, well, part 2 to the movies. Well, to this part, I guess it's a part 3, I guess. But part 3 to the whole series. For the rest of it, I think I agree with that. So
Well,
even though I don't like the ending, I agree with that.
Well, I'll tell you how to write a better ending to kind of lead into a second movie. So, the one prime example I would bring as a case study is Infinity War. I think that's really how you should do it in terms of a two-part movie with the same villain, right? Where,
Yeah.
see, what it should be is that Miles Morales did all of the things he did in the first movie, and he got beaten so horribly by the villain that it basically knocked him right back to square one to reset to the second movie. Versus this movie, it felt more like he did all the things he did, and at the same time, the movie just suddenly stopped. Where they just manually chopped it versus
They hit us with the
Yo, I won't lie. It was like I was so into the movie, bro. I was just like,
no, I
it was
knew
like
that
too
the ending was
deep.
coming up because Uni looked at her watch in the middle as like as a bit, and like her watch turned on, and I was like, oh my god, we've been here for 2 hours. This movie's about to end, and we're not even at the conclusion. And like when he was in the other dimension, like, oh, he's in the wrong dimension. Like, oh well, there's another movie.
Yo, he was like he's in the wrong dimension and stuff, and then it was just showing like, oh, they was getting the team together, and then it was the other team, and it was like all the movie. It was like I think this is like the only part of the movie too where they started showing a bunch of different moving parts all converging to one thing. And and then it was like to be continued. I was like, what the F is going on?
Right, yeah.
I was like, what? And you could visibly hear people in the movie there like, what's going on? Like, bro.
Well, yeah, because it should have been more like Infinity War, because Infinity War, the way they did it is that Thanos defeated all of the heroes, and he knocked them back to square one, where they have to reconvene and try to like. Well, honestly, what's even better about that film is that Thanos won, so the heroes just have to figure out what to do after that. You know what to do to defeat Thanos, even though he already won. So that's what creates a new plot and a new movie in itself. Versus this one, as I said, it just cuts off.
They just had a lot of stuff, and they just said, and I'm pretty sure Sony mandated a 3-part. I'm pretty sure, because Spider-Man is pretty much all Sony has going for them in terms of movies at this moment. So they're probably going to be milking all their stuff to 3 movies.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, probably that trend.
And do you blame them if they're putting out content like this for a low budget and like making this much money?
Well, yeah, low budget compared to all the other movies.
I mean, low budget compared to Marvel movies is like half as much. I think it only cost like $100 million to make the movie. Like the first Into the Spider-Verse, I think only made like, I think the box office did like 700 million, but the movie itself was like 150. So like all that money went straight in their pocket.
Yeah, that's also why they went crazy in this movie with the art style, all the references and stuff. They went crazy. I ain't gonna cap.
I would say the art style was
all the models already done too. If it's 3D models, no copy and pasting is going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. They even showed the Spider-Man from the video game. Like the Peter from Spider-Man, the PlayStation Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They was going crazy. Any reference, any and every reference, they was going crazy.
I would have to say, on my final verdict of the movie, is that it is a masterpiece, almost as good as the first one. Not as good. The first one is one of the most perfect Spider-Man movies. Like, I'll say the first one is a solid 5.
I'll say a perfect Miles Morales movie.
And this one is a solid 4.5.
No, I would have to disagree. I ain't gonna cap. I like the second movie way more than I like the first one. But go off.
Way more. What do you mean way more? What scale you scaling on? 1 to 1,000,000?
I would do it the other way around. I would do second movie as a 5. Third movie was like a 4.75. Wait, third movie. Wow. The first movie was a 4.75.
Bro, we were arguing over 0.25 of a point.
They're really good movies.
I'll say this. I think this movie was kind of mainly fan service, kind of like how like No Way Home was, but they kind of added a lot more in terms of fan service. Like you'll notice it with a lot of the jokes and stuff like that. Is that it was kind of references to like different Spider-Mans and like their universe. So I hate to say it, they do kind of get you with the spectacle here. But I mean, for me, I would say probably about a 5. Honestly, I would say because I feel like there is still some problems with the multiversal stuff. Now, I could technically, to be fair, I could argue that within how they're building the plot and how they're building the rules, it makes sense, even though it just doesn't make sense from a real standpoint of how multiverses work. But
It is fiction.
They just need to stop at the third movie. Let's
probably
be
are.
real. If
They
they
probably
push
are.
it too much, they're just going to break the whole thing in half.
I'll say this: they probably are going to stop at the third movie. There's not much more they can really do here, other than fix the problem or not fix the problem.
No, the spot wins and it becomes a 6-part series. the multiverse starts spiraling into and then we have to pull out Madam Spider. And it's like, all right, it's going to turn into Dragon Ball universe type of thing.
Crazy.
well, yeah, I mean, honestly, it seems like Spot is becoming better than Kang. So, dang, take that, Marvel.
That's crazy. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Sony put their foot into this. Disney, take some notes.
Make a movie that your people want to see. If since I know no Disney representative is going to ever watch this, if you're here, you made 2.5 hours in. If there's anything to take, make what people want to see. It's okay if you want to put your own agenda and stuff into it. But at the end of the day, if you want money and you want to be seen, make stuff people want to see. And Sony is doing an amazing job at that. In video games, in their movies, what else? In their technology, they're doing what people want to see.
Yeah, I hate to say, the people want fan service. I think that's established now, especially with the Mario movie and everything. So, yeah, if you do a lot of fan service, that No Way Home. Honestly, even Endgame too is probably another example.
You have to do it good. You need to have a good reason, a good plot, and it needs to have what people want to see.
Yeah,
you can try fan service stuff like in Star Wars, in the Star Wars recent trilogy. But at the end of the day, if you make Luke Skywalker a complete opposite of who he actually is, and you make people do things that they never would do, that's when people start revolting. Like fan service is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
And Disney is taking the side that hurts them the hardest, and Sony's using the other side for good.
For good. No. But yeah. Was there any other things you're gonna say about that Fables? Any other plot holes or things you didn't like, or
I'll say
things you do like?
Well, I will say mainly. So this was kind of like a first impression take. I'm not sure if I said that from the beginning, but the reason I call it a first impression kind of take on this movie is because usually what I do when it comes to a movie review is that I'll watch a movie, right? I might feel uncomfortable about some movie plot devices or like just like what happens in the movie. And I might kind of have like an internal debate, like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense to me, or this does, or I'm kind of confused at this. And then what I would do is I would actually watch reviews on the movie to see what other people say, what other people think, and I'll actually cross-reference what I think based on what they think. And because sometimes, they might see stuff that I don't see, or they might explain something that I think is stupid, and then it might skew my opinion, or it might make me think a little bit more. And that's what kind of sharpens my opinion more about a movie. But I wouldn't say my opinion is as strong with this movie, mainly because this movie kind of just came out, and a lot of the people I trust and watch in terms of like critical movie reviews, they haven't watched it yet. and the ones who have watched it didn't really say much. Versus, like, really true, all they said was, "Oh well, part one was better, and this movie was a little odd, and they didn't like the pregnant and baby scenes."
This, that's definitely something. It just feels awkward. Like you're fighting a pregnant person. Like, why is she out here fighting? Why is she on a motorcycle like
well,
this?
technically, nobody was technically fighting her, but
I mean, yeah, Miles didn't punch her in the face. He just webbed her against a car.
Oh yeah,
moving. But you know, it's very awkward. She has the advantage, and like you don't want to hurt a pregnant person.
I will say one scene that I do like though, even though it's kind of a small scene. See, sometimes it's the little things, but like when Miles was actually carrying the cake and trying to get it to his parents at the party, and then when he opened the box, the cake was ruined. Even though that's such a small scene, I actually kind of like that functionally because it actually makes sense. Like, yeah, you just swung this cake around, of course it's going to be messed up.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. That was pretty hilarious. I was like expecting it to come out perfect. And come out that boy was destroyed. I was like, hey, I mean,
well, see, this is what I mean. Like when things make sense, like you like that's usually sometimes what changes my opinion on some things. Like I'll watch something and be like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? And then I'll see something that gives it context, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, fair enough, that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd say my closing remarks of this movie is that you know I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and I have a lot of small things I love about Spider-Man, and you know it's very difficult to do a multi-project Spider-Man or like having multiple characters with Spider-Man, like outside of his rogues gallery, and especially capturing the essence of Spider. That's something that I'd say that Marvel Studios don't do a good job with, or didn't do a good job with. Who knows what they're doing with the Spider-Man IP now? But like making it feel like he's alone, making it feel like his daily struggles exist.
Yeah.
And this movie, even with all these Spider-Man people in the same situation, is still did a great job giving that Spider-Man feeling. And you know, it shows that they actually care. It shows that they had fun. They had a lot of fun making it. It's made with people with passion, and you know we have to support passion projects of stuff that we love. And you know, if you're someone like me, and even if the movie was bad, I would still just be like, okay, this is like you guys can improve on the next one or next time around, something like that. Like the Amazing Spider-Man, those were bad movies, but like there was still passion put in them, and like, you could definitely see like they almost had something good in those movies, and it just seems like Sony learned from the mistakes from the Amazing Spider-Man, and they're making masterpieces like this. Masterpieces like the Miles Morales storyline with a new character in the new circumstances, and still having hitting the same beats, which I can't say the same thing for Disney all the times, or Marvel Studios.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'll agree that. Yeah, I will say that the story was more good than it was bad. I would say
that's good. Okay, we're getting
somewhere. So maybe 5.5.
Bruh.
What about you, ninjas?
That movie was 10 out of 10. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm just playing. It was like I said, it was like an 8 out of 10 for me. Or if we're going by 1 to 5, like a 5. Or I guess you don't want to give no movie a 5. So a 4.75, and the first movie was a 4.5. Yeah, there we go. You
know, I guess if you guys want to entertain a question that I may ask, what would you guys say would be like a really great movie that you would hold in like high regards? Like just like one of the best movies that came out for you.
So I have different levels of this. I would say
one of the best movies in terms of like philosophy and like, you know, life-changing stuff. It was the first Matrix. That's that movie right there kind of wrote the game on action movies and like having a good philosophical plot while at the same time doing a great job of like keeping like, you know, having when you watch the first Matrix, it makes you believe that this is going to be a successful series. And you know, even though there's definitely problems in that movie or in the series as a whole, the first one is one of the best movies ever created, ever crafted by humans.
I would, for one, let's all rate that movie real quick because I just want to see what everybody's head at on that one. So
On
Fables
Mar-
on the Matrix.
Well, I would say on the Matrix. I mean, I would say that might be like, I'm not sure if that's in the A100. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a list of movies that's like the greatest movies ever made throughout time that people should watch, especially if you're studying film. But
Oh, let me see something.
yeah.
Let me look that list up because I want to make sure that mine is on that list. You said it's called Greatest 100 Movies?
Let me see. I saved the tab for it.
Oh, here. American
Is it
Film
on-
Institution.
Yeah, I think so.
AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies.
Yeah, actually,
Give me
Keisha,
that list. I want to take a look at it after this. Or put in the
Yeah.
Discord.
or I was gonna say if you want to present it.
Let me make sure it's the right one, though. It don't have no pictures. It's just names. That's crazy. Most of these movies are from from 19 something.
Yeah, a lot of these movies are kind of old. Like I think Lawrence of Arabia might be on there, and like maybe Indiana Jones or something.
Here, I'm gonna put this. Let me do Discord. I'll put this in Discord. So let me put this in Discord so everyone can look at it. Also, so Fables, you can tell me if this is the correct list you're talking about.
And also what
Because the Rolling Stones have a different top 100, I think, as well. So
Yeah, it was this one. Yeah,
Oh,
AFI. Because I was watching. It's a stream I was watching called Film Threat, and they actually kind of talked about it because they're actual writers and they worked in movies and the movie industry. So yeah, they were kind of talking about this when it comes to like sharpening your opinions on movies.
okay, I just wanted to see what Rolling Stone said too.
I don't think the first Matrix is on here. You know, that's okay.
I mean, no, it doesn't have to be on there. It's just a lot of these movies are kind of just foundational, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah, not only that, these are I mean, I guess they just say 100 years of movies, but a solid portion of them are like before 1950s.
no,
Yeah,
no, well,
these movies. Oh, Indiana Jones is on here. Oh snap!
no, a lot of them are past 1950 though. I will say that.
The first Indiana Jones, though, I have to say is definitely a masterpiece.
The
Yeah,
first
I ain't
Indiana
gonna lie.
Jones, yeah, that
Man,
that movie
I love
slapped.
that franchise. Yeah.
Dang, bro. I might have to rewatch it.
I am honestly. I gotta do it one day.
As a movie enthusiast, I had to look at this list just to make sure. And I'm gonna pick my movie based off this list. That's why I said I need a list. Pulp Fiction.
and then-
Pulp Fiction on here is number what? Pulp Fiction is number. I passed it. It's in the lower end of the 50s. So where is it at? Oh my gosh! I just saw it a second ago. Pulp Fiction is 95. Pulp Fiction is a wonderful movie to me, though. I love that movie a lot. Just throwing it out there. Pulp, is that my most favorite movie? I don't know, but Pulp Fiction is very high up there for me. I will say that. So if I had to give an answer based off of general audience, what people think is a good movie, Pulp Fiction would be mine.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe we should ignore the list and kind of just say based on what we've seen, maybe.
Okay, we're going based off what we've seen. I'll have to think harder on that. That's why I wanted to focus in so I can give you an answer. But if everyone want to go first and come back to me, then I can.
Well,
my
I could.
favorite mindless action movie, not really mindless, but my favorite action movie, if I wasn't just going off of just pure plot, would be Django Unchained.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that might be a better question. Like, what's your favorite good movie, and what's your favorite mindless bad movie?
My favorite movie, Matrix, and then like my favorite bad movie. Like I used to watch real bad movies, but like I need when I watch a bad movie, I need a laugh. Unless you mean like a guilty pleasure movie where I watch it, I'd be like, man, I know this boy garbage, I gotta watch it. But like bad movies would probably be the first Sharknado, where I'm just over there like that boy was a comedy. Like the acting, it was peak sci. I used to watch Sci-Fi Channel with my mom, and we used to be dying laughing. And then like Sharknado was the peak. All right, peak sci-fi movies, and we were done. We were on the floor laughing.
Oof, the Rolling Stones list is horrible.
What about you, Fables? What's your favorite movie?
Okay, so favorite good movie. So I will say, I'm one of those people, sadly, that say that it's hard to pick the favorite number one. But if you put a gun into my head and said like just like any really good movie that I like, I can actually give you a few options. But I'll say for top three, one of them is Pacific Rim. Like I actually really like that movie. Like I'm gonna be honest, I think that movie's way better than Power Rangers and Voltron, bro.
You mean the Pacific Rim, where like the giant mechs were fighting things in the Pacific Ocean, like the kaiju's in the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah, it's the mecha robots fighting.
But like,
no, that movie was
no,
good.
that movie's deep. Yeah, it's deep.
That movie was good. I ain't gonna lie.
The first one.
The first one, not the second one. The first one was good. I ain't gonna cap. That was a good movie.
The main reason I like it is because you actually feel like you there. Like you actually feel like because you see the city getting destroyed, people dying. They actually what's funny is they actually show how the people adapt to stuff like that. Where it's like they had to build like these underground bunkers that shelter people from like these kaiju attacks.
Yeah,
like they kind of show like the skeletons, how the people would actually ravage these skeletons, trying to try to sell it on the black market. Like they show a lot of like stuff that happens within the world based on these attacks. Now, technically, you could argue that these huge Jaegers are kind of inefficient, though, because really, truly, just throwing a nuke at it is actually way more efficient.
Yeah, I would say yeah. But okay, so then.
Sorry. Okay, some other ones. I would say Raiders of the Lost Ark is up there for me because I really do like Indiana Jones and his adventures. One thing you'll notice in a lot of Indiana Jones movies is that there's a lot of like cool action scenes within them that are very iconic. I remember one was when they was fighting on the little the mine cart, like where it was him and a little boy, and it was like fighting all the people on the other mine carts that was kind of just driving next to him and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And the whole Kali Ma thing and him driving that plane on the water. It's funny because a lot of these scenes I kind of remember from playing the Lego games, but
games were good, bro. Lego games were good.
Man, goated, bro. But but yeah, I would say Indiana Jones, and the final movie for a good movie, I would say, I would say, I would say I could probably just cut it off there. I don't want this stream to be too long, but
yeah, we already pushing the 3 hours. I ain't gonna count.
But I'll say in terms of a bad movie that I like, Zack Snyder Justice League. Dang. But that and there's actually a few bad movies I kind of like. Like I mean, I would say another one is Your Highness too. Like that's like a comedy fantasy movie. It's like very raunchy and stupid.
That's a good one. That's a good one though. I like that one.
But yeah,
I was about to say on the Rolling Stones top 100, The Matrix is 28 on there. So there you go, Brandon. I mean, there you go.
Let's go,
Vash.
feeling. What is it? I want to say verified, but that's not the word. But yeah, I'm feeling verified.
That's
vindicated.
I wanted to look at lists so I can just see what people have on, like what different movies. Because me just thinking about it, without looking at any list, just off the top of the dome.
I would say another. Sorry,
Guilty.
real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead first.
Well, I was gonna say real quick. A lot of good movies are sad movies too. Like Lost Dogs is actually a pretty good movie. Grave of the Firefly is a pretty good movie. AI, that's like a really old movie. That's pretty sad. I don't think it's that sad anymore. I used to cry when I was a kid seeing that movie, but yeah, no, I don't think that's a movie that sad. Really.
No, I think that if your movie is sad, for the most part, I don't think that I enjoy it as much as if it was a good one. I know not everything has to end on a good note, but like if every movie ended on a bad note, I would probably not enjoy movies.
Well, the reason I say that is because like even though I hear what you're saying about like it's meant to tear jerk you, if it makes sense, then I would say it's a good thing. Like if every event leading up to that sad moment made sense, then yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say movies that it's a guilty pleasure for sure. Will be like Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is the that movie with the girl that had dad
Actually,
and went into the orphanage.
you know what's funny? I'd actually add that to my list too, but I'd add that to the bad movie list that I enjoy.
Yeah, bad movie list. This is the bad movie list. I'm starting with that first. I most definitely love Sucker Punch to death though. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah.
I don't know, Vash, do you know what Sucker Punch is?
It's like I've heard of it, but it's like in the backlogs of my memory.
I had to show you. I'm gonna show you that movie one day. That is to me, the movie has a great concept. It's like, oh, it could be executed better. I agree, but I love that movie to death. I ain't gonna lie to you. So Sucker Punch, and then what else? I will say, I guess this would be a bad movie because people get tired of superhero movies and stuff. But Avengers Endgame,
Yeah.
will be in that list as well because yeah, that movie slapped. I don't care what anyone says, bro.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, the fan service was got me hooting and hollering. Yeah,
that's crazy. I think that was especially it marked the end of an era too. That's what I think as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of us not getting too many good superhero movies anymore. But then
No, they're just mass producing them. The corporate overlords are just printing them out like copy and paste. And Ant-Man's a great example.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like Ant-Man is the most corporate superhero movie ever. But I ain't ever seen a superhero that was known for unique characters and a more personal plot line get reduced down to this. Like, what was that?
I gotta agree. But a good movie.
Sorry.
No, I was about to say a good movie by people standards. Pulp Fiction will be one of my great movies. I like Pulp Fiction a lot. And they actually got Pulp Fiction on this list as number 5. That's funny. But Star Wars episode. What's the episode when Obi-Wan Kenobi was fighting Luke? That's 7, right?
Oh, Revenge of the Sith.
That's 7. My bad. I mean that's 4 or 5. That's 5, right?
It's
where Obi-Wan fights Darth Vader.
No, when Obi-Wan fights Anakin.
Yeah, that's
where he was like, I got the high ground, you know.
Yeah, that's Revenge of the Sith.
It's the 3rd one or the 6th one?
Yeah, it's the 3rd one. Well, I see what you mean. Yeah, in terms of like the logical order, it would be 3.
It's the 6.
It'll technically be 6. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, 3, 6, whatever. However y'all want to do that. But yeah, that one. Now that one was pretty good. And then throwing another one in there. One good movie that everyone thinks is a really good movie that I hate a lot is Back to the Future though. I ain't gonna cap.
That movie, I remember seeing the whole like trilogy of that. I will say that movie is a little corny. but it's like one of those things where it's like it was good, especially for its time.
For his time.
Yeah, it's a movie of its time. There's a lot of stuff that's very weird and would never fly today, but like it's, you
Yeah.
know,
They should have stopped after the first one. That's what I'm gonna say. Hot take.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would kind of say that. I mean, I say the same for RoboCop.
yeah, I would say the same for RoboCop.
Well,
They
you didn't
should have
like the
stopped after
reboot?
Well, what's funny is the reboot was like the same thing as the old one. That's actually why a lot of people didn't really watch it.
Yeah, because it was same-ish, just a different year. Fight Club is a good one too.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
And the Terminator 2 though. Okay. Let me stop reading this list. Terminator 2 though is a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'll even go on a limb and say 3 as well. Terminator 3. Yeah. Those two right there, they know what they were doing.
You know what's funny? I would add Terminator Salvation to my bad list. Like I actually liked it superficially, but like I ain't gonna like, yeah, that movie.
Salvation is definitely like, I can see what they were going, but at the same time, it just seems like from the get-go, it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like, did they do bad with what they did? Like, yeah, they could have made a few decisions differently, but at the same time, was it the situations that they put the characters in the issue, or was it the entire like plot itself? From like when they came up with the idea of not having John Connor and going off of a robot guy.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
And like the first Terminator is great. Like good movie for its time. Even to this day, the special effects hold up.
Yeah.
The second movie, a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure how they did even better than the first one. But when I was a kid, I didn't even watch the first Terminator. I watched the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And like it blew me away as a kid. And I rewatched it. Like, you know, you rewatch things like, man, like whatever. It's probably garbage. Like I don't know, like the VeggieTale movies. And you hop in that boy and you're just like, this thing goes bananas. And Terminator 3, that boy, it was not as good as 2, but still great.
Yeah, it was.
And then Salvation, they just, I don't know, they dropped it. And then Terminator Genesis, it doesn't exist.
Spirited Away is a good one too. That's a good movie on the good list. Personally, had to pop that one. But yeah, so that's my list.
I would say another thing too. I would add Lord of the Rings to my good list, but see the problem is I was so young when I watched that, so it's like I actually have to watch it again. I mean, I know it's good, but like I got to watch it again to really feel it.
Yeah, it's been a second since I watched Lord of the Rings too, so it's like, you know, but I know they're good movies. I do remember enjoying those 4-hour movies. Don't get me wrong. No, it's like,
yeah, exactly. It was funny. The only thing I really remember from the movie was the part where they were fighting the troll. Really.
Yeah, I know like the plot. Like I can tell you the plot, but nothing in between. Yeah. So, I remember the plot. That's about it. But yeah, I think we talked about movies enough. I knew this was going to be a movie heavy podcast. It's almost 3 hours, so I don't know if we're gonna have time to talk about our other topic that we was gonna get to, which is the PlayStation Showcase.
It's
honestly,
we can probably talk about the games as they come out and just bring up the showcase. If like the game was talked about, like Spider-Man or exactly. Final Fantasy 16 that comes out the end of this month. Man, I'm not even done uploading Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm behind some content.
This move put me back 2 weeks.
But yeah, so we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you for everyone who came out to watch. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Go hit up these boys' channels. And like, comment, subscribe on any of their videos and stuff too. Get us all to 1,000. That's our goal. Don't let them say otherwise.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just want 50 on all my stuff, please.
He said 50 times 10, 5,000. But 1,000 is the goal. But yeah, go ahead, Dr. Bash. I'll let you go first this time. Go ahead and give your outro.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for sticking for the entire stream. I know we've talked primarily about movies, but hey, if you come by my streams, we can talk about any games, anything like that. I have a lot of fun with my viewers. I've been having a lot of interaction, and I definitely will. For the one viewer, that 1 to 5 viewers that stop by, if you ever want to play a game with me or something like that and beat me down or play some fun decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm down for it. So thank you for coming by.
All right. Now I agree. Go watch his stuff. He has amazing content. And then Mount Fables, go ahead and do your outro. Give the people what they want.
Well, I wouldn't say my content is as amazing, but I am trying to. I would say I'm in the process of kind of rolling out some more philosophical content. You can check me out at Mount Fables on Instagram and TikTok, but really truly Instagram. I'm the most active on Instagram. Yeah, I know that platform like off the back of my hand now. But yeah, Instagram at Mount Fables.
Yeah, he talking about his content. His content is great. That man know how to draw. That man know how to illustrate. That man know how to graphic design, 3D drawing, all that stuff. Check it out.
Well, I thank you. I would say I'm actually slowly getting there. I would say, yeah. I'm learning the skills and kind of putting them all together.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a good job. So go ahead and hit his page up on Instagram. Follow the mess out of it, like his stuff. Watch out for his series when it finally comes out too. But yeah, and then for me, just thank you guys for watching and always coming out to support the channel and whatnot. There's no real updates for me other than I just got to finish the stuff that I've been doing, the other content that I have. But yeah, it's coming out soon. Get us to 1,000. I can't express that enough. We appreciate everyone who watches and follows, but share it to your mom. Share it to your uncle, the guy that's at the hospital that
What?
the homeless guy. Just share it to everybody. This is what I'm trying to say. And make sure they subscribe. Y'all have a good night.
Goodbye.
See ya.